You're listening to Football Friday Night on demand exclusively on 600 ESPN El Paso. Stay up to date with high school football scores, updates, and news by downloading the free 600 ESPN El Paso mobile app.
Welcome to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. I'm Bo Bagley, back from a 2-week hiatus alongside Paul McKinnon and Angel Munoz. Excited to be back. We got you covered from the 915 to the land of enchantment. Week 9 of the high school football season. Boy, can you believe we're already at week 9 and we got district title games, virtually district title games on the line tonight, including our 915 Tours game of the week, Riverside at Austin. But Paul, it all started last night with Pebble Hills and Franklin, what could be the deciding game in 6A, a slam jam-packed 6A.
Yeah, and Bo, possibly the two top teams in the city going at each other. And if that's the case, there is a large disparity between number 1 and number 2. Pebble Hills clearly the better team. Even from the beginning, it was a scoreless first quarter, but opening kickoff, Sam Chacon, a 60-plus yard kickoff return. Wow. That's brought back by a penalty. So they run the ball. Next play, Jacob Ledesma, the senior, 30 yards right up the gut. So they were able to move it. 4 turnovers in that first quarter. As I said, it was scoreless. That's why. By the way, in a losing cause, Nick Gomez, D-back for the Franklin Cougars, played a heck of a game. The biggest play, first and goal inside the 8, and Galo Ochoa looking to keep. Garcia comes off the edge, blitz, strips him from behind. And the freshman, Ernie Powers, recovered. Powers would later have an interception return as well. Good work for a freshman, but too little too late at that point. And as I said, Pebble Hills took charge. About 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Marcos Torres, the coach's kid, gets him on the board. 32-yard deep in, and mostly it's actually the run after catch, about a 13-yard route. He makes a move and goes down the right sideline, and 6:57 to be exact. And all of a sudden, Pebble Hills has a 7-0 lead. If not bad enough, Dante Alvarez, a 29-yard interception return all the way down to the 2-yard line. Next play, that guy, Ledesma again, 2-yard run, 14-0. By the way, I think it was 6 turnovers in the first half for the Franklin Cougars. Shea Smith, the quarterback, he's terrific. The only guy who reminds me of Edmund Stansbury back in the day. But really rough night last night. 4 interceptions on the night, and almost all of those in the first half. But where Pebble really got this thing done, Franklin probably feeling, we're only down 14 and we got our tails kicked in that first half. Pebble Hills comes out with a surprise onside kick, recovers it. A couple of plays later, of course, Ochoa goes for 14, but then that guy, Jacob Ledesma, the senior on senior night, on a team littered with juniors at the skill positions. Ledesma goes 30 yards, that with 10-14 left to play in the third quarter, 21-0. That's all she wrote. Bo Sparks made a nice play on a crossing route, 43 yards. But, they would get no closer. 34-14 the final in that one. And as I said, I'm not sure it was even that close.
Well, and you look at 6A, you got Americus, Montwood, El Dorado if they potentially went out, and then Eastlake, Franklin, Pebble Hills, all of these teams playing for those 4 spots. This is going to be an exciting night and a big one tonight between Montwood at Eastwood at Trooper Stadium. Steve Escajeda on the call for that one. This is going to be down to the wire in 6A.
Yeah, without a doubt. We have 3 teams that all have 1 loss. So they're not necessarily tied. Actually, Pebble Hills is ahead because they played more games. Remember, there are 9 teams in the district, so somebody gets a week off. Pebble Hills yet to have their week off, so they're a game ahead of the guys that have had their week off. So 6-1 in the district. 8-1 overall. Their only loss to America is 23-21 a couple of weeks ago. How have they responded to that? Well, last week, a 4-minute drive to score in the waning seconds against Montwood and win that one 38-35. 19 seconds, wow, exactly a 4-minute drive, and that's what they did. And then they come back last night on short rest, 6 days notice, and they just really put the whooping to Franklin. A nice game plan. But you do have America sitting at 3-3, and Montwood at 2-3. Montwood's got a real shot at Eastwood tonight. Absolutely. I think Montwood's got the best passing game, not just in the district, but obviously in the city. Eastwood may be, number 2, so Steve Escada should have a fun one out there. But, yeah, Montwood could really get that. And Montwood and America's 3 losses apiece. They're looking for the Franklins of the world. Franklin now 2 losses. If Montwood could deal a blow to Eastwood tonight, they'd have 2 losses. And then all of a sudden those guys would have, especially Montwood, would have some head-to-head against Franklin and both Eastwood, assuming they win tonight, and they could win a tiebreaker, assuming there's a tie for fourth place or maybe even a three-way tie. So Montwood definitely still in this. Americas has a pretty easy schedule rest of the way out. I think they're going to win out there at Coronado tonight, but they're going to need some help.
Absolutely. Going to be a fun one tonight over at Trooper Stadium. Montwood at Eastwood. Steve Escahade on the call. We'll hear from Steve in a little bit. Kickoff 7 o'clock. And we have an exciting slate of games tonight. We have 9 reporters all around town, including our 915 Tours game of the week. It's Riverside against Austin. That game taking place at Bowie. Brandon Cohn on the call. We'll have a preview from Brandon in just a moment. We have other games, a 6 o'clock kickoff between Mountain View hosting Fort Stockton. This one ugly in the second quarter. It has been all Fort Stockton all the time. 34-0 Fort Stockton Lobos over the Lobos of Mountain View. We'll hear from Joe Rodriguez in just a little bit. We have another undefeated matchup in district between Chapin and Canutillo at Lowenberg Stadium. Adrian brought us on the call for that one. That should be a real interesting game. Likely winner of that one likely wins district. Back to 6A again, Americas at Coronado. Joey Panisi on the call there. And then a fun one between Bel Air and Parkland at Highlander Stadium. Jeremy Karanko on the call, that one. Highlander Stadium going to be rocking Bel Air 7-0. 2-0 in district, while Parkland comes in 1-1.
And Bo, the excitement has already begun. Jeremy Karanko shoots me. DJ Crest, a 69-yard punt return. Parkland out on top of the undefeated Bel Air Highlanders, 7-0 last we checked. Bill Kuhn reported a couple of weeks back. Last time Bel Air was 7-0, 1992. And I have a feeling if they win tonight, we're going to have to start getting into some of those early 80s teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Bel Air, 7-0, 2-0. Could be tough for Bel Air. Jeremy Karanko tweeting out this earlier tonight. Bel Air leading rusher Zach Martinez out of this game with a broken arm. He's been key. He's been the leading rusher for the Highlanders this season.
And our Bill Kuhn caught that one, too. He said he left the field, in a sling at the end of the last contest. An easy win, a game you wouldn't expect anybody to get banged up, but he sure did, and that's huge. The battle of the running backs now turns into the battle of the running back. Isaiah Beasley, I assume, still healthy, and he'll get his 28 he's carried 40 times a couple of times this year, so, if they need him, he's going to carry it. Who's Bel Air going to go to?
Once again from Jeremy Karanko, DJ Crest, a touchdown. Parkland up 7-0. We'll hear from Jeremy Karanko in just a little bit. Another fun game. J.D. Sursley's got the call. Hanks hosting Delvi. Delvi is 6-1, a real quiet 6-1, 2-0 in district. But here comes a really fun part of this season now. They get Hanks tonight. Coming up, it's a fun season, or fun rest of the season coming away. They get Azleta, and then they still have Bel Air on tap. So going to be interested to see how Delvi ends up this season.
I was just going to say, a couple of weeks ago, remember these guys were all off last week, as were you. 20-14, Delvi barely squeezed by Parkland. Parkland gave them everything they wanted, actually up 14-7. 3 Jesse Munoz TDs got Delvi past them. Hanks 48-40 out at Horizon. 3 separate receivers, Folkdahl, Blanco, and Casillas all over 100 yards in that one. Obviously, Xavier Johnson, he's done for the season. They've got to throw the ball. Yeah. Against Horizon, they were able to. Delvi is going to be another matter.
Yeah. Delvi defense could step up big in this one. Hanks can put up the points, but we'll see against the Delvi defense. Once again, J.D. Sursley on the call. We'll hear from J.D. in just a little bit. Jerry Alvarez on the call at Jefferson Silver Fox Stadium. Silver Fox is hosting Andrus. Andrus 1-1 in district, while Jefferson 0-2. Jefferson badly in need of a win here. Should be an interesting game there. Finally, Jaime Chavez, the coach, on the call at Mustang Stadium. Burgess hosting El Paso High. El Paso has played well of late. They're 1-1 in district, 4-3 overall, while Burgess looking for their first district victory.
And we hear that Lorenz Johnson, who's been out since, week 3, week 4 with that broken wrist, has a cast on but planning to play. And remember, Burgess, if they lose tonight, they could probably kiss playoff hopes goodbye. They've been in the playoffs 7 consecutive seasons. That streak could go bye-bye tonight.
And let's head out to our 915 Tours game of the week. Join Brandon Cohn for a preview of Riverside and Austin. Brandon, take it away.
Thank you very much from the Bowie's Batty Samang Stadium, our 915 Tours game of the week, a game which is unofficially for the 1-4A crown, starting with the home squad in Austin, 3-4 on the season, 1-0 in 1-4A, winning 3 of their last 4 games after an 0-3 start this year. Of course, This is basically a potent team on the ground, utilizing two of the betting running backs in the city, in Jaden Wilson and Israel Luna. Also a team that beats you with their defensive effort as well. Of course, they do have 258 reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Jaden Wilson there. Jaden Wilson, 864 yards on the ground, 7 touchdowns, complemented also by running back Israel Luna, 515 yards, 5 TDs. These two have combined for 7 100-plus yard games, averaging nearly 280 yards rushing per game. Defensively led by cornerback Jaden Wilson, as well as defensive lineman Sergio Rodriguez, who's actually playing with a torn ACL. That's how tough this kid is. Coach Pichardo said before the game, everyone's asking us how we're going to stop Speedy Munoz, the star quarterback, of course, for Riverside. He said what they need to ask is how are they going to stop our ground game. Also worth noting, Mark Sines, their other running back, out with a knee injury tonight. On the other side, Riverside 7-1, 2-0, and 1-4-8. Only blemish coming against the number 2 team in the state at Bushland last day of September, losing that game. Of course, led by one of the top city's quarterbacks in Angel Speedy Munoz, who's already received offers from the likes of Army, New Mexico State. He's been out the last 2 games. He had a concussion, which I talked to their head coach, Coach Recorder, before the game. He said he sustained against Bushland, but of course he's back tonight. He's not playing quarterback, though. It's worth mentioning they're coming in with Ian Motion, who is playing tonight at QB, starting. Speedy is the receiver so far. We'll see what happens there. Worth mentioning, Speedy, 869 yards through the air, 10 touchdowns, 556 rush yards, 8 touchdowns this season on the ground. Very dangerous, ran for nearly 2,000 yards last season. This is a multi-dimensional team in Riverside. They beat you through the air. They can beat you through the ground. Also, they have their running back, Jose Gerardo, nearly 900 yards on the ground, 10 touchdowns. And through the air, Adrian Estrada, he can do it all. He's got 8 rushing touchdowns, almost 500 receiving yards, 6 receiving touchdowns. And wideout Tristan Lopez, 631 yards and 6 touchdowns through the air as well. Also worth mentioning before I let you gentlemen go, that Riverside was driving. They get down to around the 20, and it was an interception by Jaden Wilson. And now Austin driving the other side of the field. They're at the Riverside 30. 5:45 left in the first quarter at Batty Cement Stadium in our game of the week. We have a scoreless game between Austin and Riverside.
All right, Iceman, Brandon Cohn, thank you so much for that update and the preview. So Ian Moncion is getting the quarterback start for Riverside. That's a huge deal. Could be a really big deal for the Rangers today.
Yeah, it's not like he hasn't had a lot of experience, even in games where Munoz is playing. Montillon, you can tell Brandon is from Chicago. Ian, man in motion, as Chris Berman would say. Let's call him Montillon since that's his name. He's got a lot of play. There's not going to be an issue there, and they're still going to be able to get the ball into Munoz's. Well, I guess playing on the defensive side, but they got a ton of weapons. Adrian Estrada has been terrific. Jose Guardado, in fact, the first game that Munoz missed, each of those two, Guardado and Estrada, went for more than 200 yards on the ground. So, not too concerned. Of course, it is Austin, and Austin could definitely get these guys. Wing T offense, if you can't stop their run game, they're going to do it all night long, and it's going to be a long night for the Riverside Rangers, which it could be.
Absolutely, and once again, Brandon Cohn on the call, linebacker, and a New Mexico commit, Jaden Wilson, with the interception early on to thwart the Rangers' scoring opportunity there. So Austin with the ball, turning it around on Riverside. We're going to take a little break. We're going to hear from all of our... Oh, actually, let's head out to Joe Rodriguez. We got a call from Lobo Stadium. Get an update from Joe Rodriguez, Mountain View hosting Fort Stockton. Joe Rod, take it away.
1:40 to go in the second quarter, and it is all Fort Stockton leading the Mountain View Lobos by the score of 41-7. A grand total of 7 possessions for the Fort Stockton Panthers, and they have scored on 6 of those, including their last 4 possessions of the game. Interesting statistic that calls out my attention. I was thinking that the Fort Stockton Panthers were a balanced team. They already have 25 passing attempts on the night tonight for quarterback Marco Garcia, who has connected with his cousin Isaiah Garcia for 3 touchdown passes on the night. So with 1:32 left to go in the first half, it is the Fort Stockton Panthers beating the Mountain View Lobos on homecoming night by the score of 41-7.
41-7. Wow. As the first half, both teams 1-1 in district. This is one that Mountain View could really show how well they've played in district, but yikes, 41-7. Fort Stockton all over Mountain View at this point. We're going to take a quick break, then we're going to head over all around town to get an update. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. I'm Bo Bagley alongside Paul McKinnon, producer Angel Munoz. We have some scores all around the 915 and the Land of Enchantment. Some updates. El Dorado scores first at the SAC. They lead the Socorro Bulldogs 6-0. At halftime, Sonora leads Anthony 14-0. Also at the half, Monahans all over Fabens 54-0. Yeah, Monahans is for real. Always a tough place to play. Fabens down at Monahans. Let's head out to our 915 Tours Game of the Week and join Iceman Brandon Cohn for an update on our Game of the Week. Oh, okay, take that back. We have Adrian Broadus. Here, let's go to Adrian Broadus instead. We have a Chapin Canutillo update from Adrian Broadus. Adrian, take it away.
Hey guys, 1 minute 56 seconds left here in the opening quarter. Canutillo has taken a 7-0 lead against the Chapin Huskies on their opening drive. Canutillo pushed the ball all the way downfield against the Chapin Huskies. Credit L.J. Martin, 8 carries already, 53 rushing yards. And it was Anthony Ayala rushing in on a third and goal situation from 8 yards out, scoring the first time for Canutillo. Now, guys, Chapin looked nice on their opening drive. Davion Singleton, we all have talked about the freshman sensation. He rushed the ball 22 yards all the way down inside Canutillo red zone territory. Unfortunately, he fumbled the ball on his end, and as a result, Canutillo is taken over. Canutillo already on the move, approaching midfield here on their second drive following the turnover. So I'll send it back to you guys. A minute left here in the opening quarter. Canutillo up 7-0 against Chapin.
All right, Adrian, thank you so much. What a game there at Lowenberg Stadium, the Smurf Turf. And Chapin and Canutillo, both teams 2-0 in district. Adrian, thank you for that update. Let's now head out to the Iceman, Brandon Cohn, for an update on our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Riverside and Austin. And Brandon, I hear it's Austin striking first.
1:01 left here in the opening quarter. Austin leads 7-0 over at Riverside. At the 1:08 mark of the first quarter, Austin interception by Wilson ends up paying off as Wilson himself scores on a 15-yard touchdown. The PAT was good, making the score Austin 7-0 over Riverside. Little under a minute to go here in this first quarter, and it's Austin 7-0 over Riverside.
All right, Brandon, thank you very much. Wow. Paul, let's bring you in here, talk about that. Riverside was driving. Jaden Wilson got a big interception in the end zone there. Austin comes down, converts on fourth down.
And he gets the interception off the backup quarterback, Ian Montion, as you heard Brandon Cohn report. Concussion for Angel Munoz. He's missed the last couple of weeks. Of course, it happened against Bushland, and I mean, why wouldn't it? That's what happens when you schedule, teams that that are ranked above you. Sometimes it's a tough game. So Montion, the backup, throws the pick, and Austin goes down the field. As I said, if you're not able to stop that Austin running game, man, it's coming at you all night long. They don't do anything else. You don't have to worry about covering anybody. You just have to tackle. Speed, counter. The waggle. If they run that, you got to stop those things. And if you do, you're going to win the game. If you don't, you're going to be on defense the whole night.
Absolutely. Well, Austin surely has a great defensive player in Jaden Wilson, and they strike first. And Brandon Cohn on the call as Austin leads Riverside 7-0. Let's head out to the 6A land and join Trooper Stadium's Steve Escajeda on hand. Eastwood hosting Montwood. Steve, what do you got for us?
We've got 5:53 left to go here in the opening quarter, and it's scoreless, believe it or not, between Eastwood and Montwood. We're expecting a really high-scoring ball game tonight. Let me tell you why. Eastwood's averaging 40 points a game, Montwood 39 points a game, and it's like Montwood gives up 39 as well. So everything points to a high-scoring game. Two of the best quarterbacks in the city. Montwood's Isaac Galvan averaging 336 yards passing per game, and not too far behind him, Eastwood quarterback Evan Mijares at 252 passing yards per contest. Right now, Montwood got the ball first in this ball game. They traveled down to the Eastwood 33. They were facing a 4th and 3. They went for it. The pass was incomplete. Eastwood took it from there. They've driven down to the Montwood 18-yard line. They're looking at a 1st and 10 right now. And right off the bat, their first 3 plays of the ball game, he had us hitting his top receiver, Curtis Murillo, 3 times in a row, and that's for 33 yards. And in fact, Max Mancias carried the ball down to the Montwood 3-yard line. So we've got 4:59 to go in the first quarter. Eastwood threatening on the Montwood 3-yard line. We're scoreless 0-0.
And Bo, this in from Adrian Broad is out at Lowenberg Stadium. As you said, the Smurf turf. L.J. Martin dinged up. He's having right foot problems off on the sidelines. Remember, he missed a couple of games earlier, but, seemed back and healthy. He carried 20-plus times for 286, I think, last week. Had a 98-yard touchdown run, one of 2 touchdowns. Also caught a 30-yard ball. So healthy a week ago, but not healthy now. And, of course, that's a huge deal for Canutillo. Of course, they do still lead Chapin 7-0.
Absolutely. That could be an Achilles heel for the Canutillo Eagles against the Chapin Huskies. Once again, both teams 2-0 in district. We'll hear from Adrian Broadus, get an update a little bit later. Let's head out back to 6A. Join Americus and Coronado at Corals Brooks Thunderbird Stadium. Join Joey Panisi for an update on Americus at Coronado. Joey.
Yes, from Thunderbird Stadium with 5 minutes and 54 seconds left in the first quarter. The Coronado Thunderbirds have the lead 7-3 over Americas. The game started off with Coronado kicking off to Americas. They started at the 22-yard line, and their star quarterback, Mark Moore, pitched it back to Brian Levesque, to Brian Promes, and Promes threw a 60-yard pass, halfback pass, and completed it, and Blake Randag from Coronado took off and cut him out at the 4-yard line. 4 plays later, Americas still didn't score, wound up settling for a field goal. Americas kicks off, Coronado runs it down to the 50. That was Blake Randag. He gets hit late. They moved it down to the 35, and Owen Levesque on the first play from scrimmage runs a lead option and runs 35 yards untouched into the end zone. Americas just punted to Coronado. Coronado starting their second position, and a 15-yard pass was just completed by Levesque to Randag. So back to you guys with 5:09 left in the first quarter. It's the Coronado T-Birds 7 and the Americas Trailblazers 3.
And Bo from Steve Escajeda out at Eastwood Trooper Stadium. Max Mancia, the unappreciated man, running back, but he can come out of the backfield and make some catches. This time it's a handoff. 8-yard touchdown run, 4:42 left of the first quarter. Eastwood leads Montwood 7-0.
So Eastwood strikes first over the Montwood Rams. Remember, Eastwood coming in 4-1 in district, could have a stranglehold on that second playoff spot if they win tonight over the Montwood Rams. So big game there. We'll hear much more from Steve Escajeda later in the show. Another 6A score update. El Dorado scores again. El Dorado now up 13-0 over the Socorro Bulldogs. That game at the SAC. Hey, let's head out to Bel Air. Undefeated Bel Air for the 7-0 for the first time since 1992. Bel Air hosting Parkland. Let's join Jeremy Caraco at Highlander Stadium for an update. Jeremy.
We have 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter, and is Parkland leading Bel Air 14-0 in a big showdown tonight in 1-5A. Bel Air, lone undefeated team in El Paso, point differential 253 points. Highlander faithful are happy this year, but they're facing their toughest test tonight in a Parkland team that is 4-3 and 1-1, and nearly took out Del Valle 2 weeks. Both teams coming off a bye. Parkland off to a good start. The scoring tonight thus far: DJ Crest, actually a 77-yard punt return, touchdown, big start for the Matadors as Bel Air went 3 and out on its opening possession, following an interception on the next drive by Parkland's Mackay Shannon. Parkland botched a field goal. So Bel Air gets the ball back. They're driving into Parkland territory. Another 3 and out, and Parkland drives all the way down to the 9. Ethan Ortega catches a 9-yard touchdown pass from the sophomore quarterback Miguel Echeverria. And that's where we are standing right now. Notable outages: Zach Martinez injured in a win over Isleta 2 weeks ago, out for Bel Air, and Parkland is missing Alejandro Lopez and Anthony Carrillo, who's been out since week 2 tonight. But Matadors, big game tonight, 1-5A off to a good start. 2:26 first quarter. It's 14-0 Parkland over Bel Air.
All right, Jeremy, thank you so much. A bit surprising, but when you look at the Bel Air on offense, they're primarily offense run game right there, and when you're losing your top rusher in Zach Martinez, it's going to be very tough for Bel Air to get back in.
Oh, without a doubt. To me, that's all they had offensively. Chris Davis is a guy, he's on the precipice of 1,000 yards. You know, I saw Bel Air against the Coral. Their passing game is nothing special. Poor defenses, and they've had a soft schedule. I think the best team they've probably played going into tonight, maybe Clint, who they handled easily. I'm not taking a shot at Bel Air. They're a much better team than they've been ever since Eric Scoggin took over. But are they the level of the team they're playing against? Well, especially without Zach Martinez. They had a puncher's chance with him. Without him and without somebody who can control the game through via the ground, you know, I don't see what their chances are in this one. 14-0, they already trail.
14-0, they're going to need a lot to happen. Turnovers, special teams. We'll see if the Bel Air Highlanders can get back in this, trailing Parkland 14-0 in the first quarter. Thank you to Jeremy Karanka for that update. Let's head out to Hanks Excalibur Stadium. Hanks hosting Del Valle. Del Valle coming to this one 6-1, 2-0 in district. Really the district frontrunner here. Let's get an update from J.D. Sursley at Excalibur Stadium. J.D.
All right, 3:01 left in the first quarter. It is 14 Del Valle, Hank 0. Right before we got on air, Del Valle scored with their second touchdown. I have to point out that Jesse Ramos, number 2, hasn't been out there. It's actually number 3, Damian Diaz. So, you know, everyone was didn't really say much or anything, but Jesse Ramos is not in the lineup right now. He is not quarterbacking. But Damian Diaz did throw a beautiful pass to Juan Archuleta to start the game for 79 yards. Hanks had kind of like 2 lives on the first drive. Del Valle had penalty on the punt, so they got to redo downs, but they still stalled after their own penalty. And then right after, Del Valle went 95 yards for a drive to score again. So it's 14-0 over Hanks, 2:55 left in the first quarter.
All right, Joe, thank you.
Yeah, so no Jesse Ramos, which is huge, but we do have a Damian Diaz sighting, which is nice. Missed almost the first couple of months out with injury. One of the 2 nice returning receivers from a year ago, and Eli Molina is the only one who's been getting on the field, but Diaz makes a reappearance at the quarterback position, and boy, do they need him, but, so far so good.
Absolutely. So far, so good for the Del Valle Conquistadors, up 14-0 over Hanks. Also, just talking about it, Parkland up 14-0 over Bel Air. Speaking of 14s, Coronado has scored again over the Americas Trailblazers. Coronado now leads Americas 14-3 that game in the first quarter. We'll have an update a little bit later from Joey Panisi. Let's head out to Jefferson Silver Fox Stadium in just a moment. Paul, you got an update?
Yeah, just one other from our game of the week, obviously. Brandon Cohn lets us know that Austin Riverside now tied at 7. Adrian Estrada, we talked about him already. 1-yard touchdown run. I'm sure Brandon will be back on soon enough to let us know about that one.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun update there from the Iceman, Brandon Cohn. Let's head out to Jefferson Silver Fox Stadium. Jefferson hosting Andress. Let's get an update from Jerry Alvarez. Jerry, take it away.
Yes, with 4:22 left here at Silver Fox Stadium, it is the Andress Eagles 21, Jefferson 0. On the very second play of the game, Malcolm Anderson takes it to the house for a 62-yard run. In the ensuing drive, Jefferson on offense, the QB gets hit, gets a good shot, fumbles it. Defensive lineman picks it up for Andress, takes it 38 yards to score, makes it 14-0. On the next drive, Isaiah Owens of Andrews takes a reverse for 22 yards to make it 21-0. Currently, Jefferson has the ball on the Andrews 24-yard line after a beautiful kickoff return to put them in great field position, but they are dealing with a 4th and 9 currently. Offensively, they've been struggling all night. They haven't been able to move the ball whatsoever. So with 3:55 left here, it is Andrews 21, Jefferson 0.
Jerry, thank you very much. The Andrews Eagles up 21-0, soaring high right now at Silver Fox Stadium. Andrews playing well of late, but coming in this one, 1-1 in district. Jefferson winless in district, desperately needs a win. Going to be an uphill battle from here on out against the Andrews Eagles. Let's head out to Burgess Mustang Stadium. Burgess looking for their first district victory, hosting the El Paso High Tigers, coming in 4-3 overall. Let's head out to Coach Jaime Chavez with an update. Coach.
Then we've got 10:18 left in the half. It's at Mustang Stadium. El Paso High 13 and Burgess 0. El Paso High quarterback Jerry Titus hit a 14-yard touchdown run on El Paso High's first drive. Then he comes back and fires a 33-yard touchdown pass to Edgar Garcia, and the extra point was missed. Good numbers thus far for Titus. He's 6 of 8 passing, 6 of 8 attempts, and 98 yards passing. He's got 3 carries and 25 yards rushing. And good news for the Tigers is Lorenzo Johnson is back in the lineup after missing a month of action. He suffered a fractured wrist earlier in the season. And with 4 games of action thus far for Johnson, he has 601 yards rushing and 66 carries and 7 touchdowns going into tonight's game. On his first carry tonight, Johnson had a 30-yard run right up the middle. He's got 8 carries and 70 yards rushing for the Tigers. So 9:39 left in the half at Burgess's Mustang Stadium. It's all El Paso High. El Paso 13, Burgess nothing.
So Bo, this is what I like to see. In the last couple of weeks, El Paso's gotten their offense back. Jerry Chidas joins the core last week, has a big game, runs for almost 100, throws for a couple of hundred in a win. Now they get the Johnson kid back, Lorenz Johnson. Remember, he's the one, the Hanks game, I think it was like week 2. It was Johnson versus Johnson, and that Johnson was having a heck of a game. He wasn't around too many weeks longer. Back with a cast on his arm tonight. So good for them. I just like seeing teams at their strength in the games that matter and not losing because, you're missing a couple of guys. And speaking of guys coming back from injury, L.J. Martin back on the field out at Lowenberg. Adrian Brada says limping noticeably, but that didn't keep him from running in from 25 yards out to score a touchdown set up by a 49-yard pass knocks to Lorenzo Adiola. That's another kid they're getting back. And Adiola was invisible for about a month, but he's making plays now. He's a terrific receiver. They're getting all their weapons ready for the playoffs. 13-0 now. Canutillo on top of Chapin. 7-11 left in the second quarter.
Canutillo hums when they have L.J. Martin at full strength. Canutillo is a tough team to beat. Hey, we got halftime over at Lobo Stadium. Mountain View hosting Fort Stockton for a halftime update. Let's go out to Joe Rodriguez. Joe.
Thank you very much, Bo. Less than 12 minutes to go out here and the extended halftime program tonight out here in Montana Vista for the Mountain View Lobos homecoming. But it, unfortunately, has been all Fort Stockton Panthers leading the Mountain View Lobos by the score of 41-7. What can we say? It's been offensively, or for the entire game, it's been all Fort Stockton, 19 first downs, a total of 19 rushes for 163 yards. Quarterback Marco Garcia, the junior Marco Garcia, has gone 27 for 22 for 222 yards, 3 touchdown passes, all 3 of them to his cousin Isaiah Garcia, who has half a dozen receptions for 76 yards and 3 touchdowns. Total offense, 380 yards for the Fort Stockton Panthers. Not bad for a first half for a team that averages 406 yards on the season. They do have 4 penalties for 50 yards. Over for Mountain View, unfortunately, only 6 first downs. They carried the ball 15 times for 22 yards. Quarterback for the Mountain View Lobos, Joel Padilla, has gone 5 for 13 for 68 yards. A grand total of 90 yards for the Mountain View Lobos. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of pep talk head coach DJ Check gives his Mountain View Lobos. Got to remember, we can't call it in a similar situation, but they were in a familiar situation last week when they were down 28-7 on the road to the Clint Lions. They came back to make it 27-28. Coach DJ Check decided to go for 2 and fails, giving the Clinton Lions the victory. But it'll be interesting to see what the Mountain View Lobos can do to get back in the fight, at least in this one in the second half. So with about 10 minutes to go until we kick off in the second half, it is all Fort Stockton Panthers leading the Mountain View Lobos by a score of 41-7.
All right, Joe Rod, thank you so much. Boy, tough homecoming out there for the Mountain View Lobos hosting Fort Stockton. Both teams 1-1 in district. Hey, we got a fun one out at Bowie's Beatty Semang Stadium. Austin Panthers hosting the Riverside Rangers. Let's go back out to the Iceman, Brandon Cohn, for an update on our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Brandon.
6:43 remaining here in the opening half. We have a tie ball game, Austin 7, Riverside 7 at the 11:56 mark here of the second quarter. Riverside getting to the Austin 15 as quarterback Mochian finds Tristan Lopez for a 49-yard reception. And a couple plays later, Riverside running back Adrian Estrada ends up scoring on the 1-yard touchdown. PAT was good. Worth noting throughout the first whole half here, Angel Speedy Munoz playing wide receiver, not quarterback for the Rangers. 6:10 to go here, opening half. Austin 7, Riverside 7.
All right, 7-all at Bowie's Beatty Semang Stadium. Brandon, thank you so much. In our 915 Tours Game of the Week, tied at 7 between Riverside and Austin. 915 Tours is a division of Classic Elegance Coaches. They provide the best travel packages from El Paso to Dallas for Cowboy home games. Packages include round-trip travel, hotel stay in Dallas at the Omni, an ultimate fan experience tailgate, a meet and greet with players, and, of course, your ticket to watch the Dallas Cowboys. 915 Tours are a sponsor of our Football Friday Night Game of the Week. We're going to take a break, but much more to come here on Football Friday Night. You're listening to 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night Week 9 right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. We've got you covered from the 915 to the Land of Enchantment in our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Riverside against Austin tied at 7 in the first quarter. That game taking place at Bowie's Beatty Semang Stadium. At halftime, Mountain View trails Fort Stockton 41-7. A battle of undefeateds between 2-0 Chapin, 2-0 Canutillo. It's Canutillo up 14-0. 14-0, right? Paul, want to make sure about that? We got an update from Adrian Broadus on Canutillo and Chapin. 14-0.
Yeah, I have 13 on that one, but
13. Got it.
There you
okay,
go.
missed PAT. And we got some fun games over in 6A. As a matter of fact, Montwood and Eastwood is heating up there at Trooper Stadium. Let's head out to Steve Escajeda and get an update on Montwood and Eastwood.
We've got 10:33 now to go in the second quarter, and Eastwood now leads Montwood 7-3. Montwood answering on a Diego Savalas 40-yard field goal, again, to cut that lead down to 4. Right now, Eastwood has the ball again. They're threatening to score again. They're down to the Montwood 5-yard line, and they just told time out on the field. And a big battle tonight between quarterbacks. We said these are two of the best quarterbacks in the city. For Montwood's, Isaac Aldan already 8 out of 13 for 61 yards. He also has an interception, by the way. For Eastwood, Evan Mijares, he's 4 out of 8, 55 yards. There's also a battle of two of the top receivers in the city. Montwood's Diego Oaxaca, he's got 5 catches already for 35 yards, while Eastwood's Curtis Murillo, 4 catches, 55 yards. So again, it should be a wild one. In fact, let's just see if we can do one play now. Eastwood is back on the field at the 5-yard line. Again, Mijares in the shotgun, awaiting the snap. See if they can score here. I'm looking over to his sideline for a little instruction. Again, Eastwood's got twin receivers to each side. He's got the snap. He's going to keep it up the middle, and he's going to be tackled right at about the 2-yard line. and that's gonna. In fact, well, that was a 4th and 3 actually, by the way, and I think I'm not sure if the same he made it or not, but we're gonna count him short. So Mott was gonna take over. It was a 4th and 3. Looks like he picked up a couple yards. He's short, and Mott was gonna take over right there on their own 3-yard line. And 27 left to go here in the second quarter. Eastwood in front of Montwood, 7-3.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. A big stop by the Montwood Rams there. Looks like, and they trail Eastwood 7-3, but this one could be a barn burner. We were thinking maybe 50 points by this time, but just 7-3 Eastwood right now.
And I would say anytime in a game like this, anytime you get inside the 20, you got to come away with points of some sort. But, Eastwood does what they always do, and, they roll the dice, come up a little short. The good news is Montwood starting it sounded like their own 2-yard line, so got a long ways to go, but that's an explosive offense. And like I said, you want to put some points in the bank every chance you can.
Absolutely. We're going to stay in 6A, head out to Joey Panisse in a moment, but we have an update from Brandon Cohn and our 915 Tours Game of the Week. We're going to go out to Brandon in just a moment. First, let's go out to Joey Panisse at Coronado's Brooks Thunderbird Stadium. Get an update, a surprising update. Maricus at Coronado. Joey.
Yes, from Coronado High School with 11:56 in the second quarter. What a first quarter Coronado played. It may be the best quarter they've played in years. The score is 21 Coronado, Trailblazers 10. And trust me, boys, Coronado's earned every score. Last possession, America stalled in 4 consecutive carries by Thomas Murray, running back from Coronado, yielded a 22-yard touchdown run, giving Coronado a 21-0 lead. Owen Levesque, what a night he's having. He ran that lead option. He had a touchdown to the right side with the lead option. And then later in the quarter, he ran that same play, but to the left side and scampered into the end zone untouched. Right now, Levesque is being sacked deeply and stripping the ball from America strips the ball and snuffs out a good drive by Coronado. So Americans will take it off at the 47-yard line. So with 11:44 left in the second quarter, it's Coronado 21, America's 10.
Joey, thank you so much. And Paul, Mike Pry has a new attitude there over there at Coronado High School. They might not have maybe been playing with that all season long, little injuries here and there. They're coming in 0-5 in district, but playing like it tonight against a tough America's team.
Yeah, Joey said maybe as impressive as they played in years. I would at least say weeks. Remember week 1, they came out like a house of fire, and we've heard the name Blake Randag a lot tonight. We did that night as well. I think he touched the ball 5 times and scored 4 touchdowns against Chapin. To open the season, there was a lot of excitement then. But, yeah, I think it's important for the T-Birds and for Mike Pry and his program that they close this season. They're not going to the playoffs this year. That's no surprise. But close it in strong fashion. Be a team that's on the rise, on the come, so people can be excited on the west side about what Coronado Thunderbird football has to offer and what's coming in future years. A lot of young guys. You heard the Martin kid or Murray kid knock it in for the touchdown. That means their best player is still not on the field and playing. But no matter, you're playing a team that looks better on paper. America's just beat mighty Pebble Hills. If you beat Pebble Hills, which they did a couple of weeks ago, you got to have something to offer. And Coronado at the moment going right through them. And this is really something, especially if they can hang on to it, that this program can really get excited about.
Absolutely. So Coronado excited right now. Second quarter leading Americus 21-10. Other 6A action, El Dorado all over Socorro 22-0. That in the second quarter after a missed PAT. El Dorado got another touchdown and then a safety on the Bulldogs. So they lead the Bulldogs 22-0 in the second quarter. We've got an update at our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Let's head back out to Beatty Semeng Stadium. It's Austin hosting Riverside. Last check, it was tied at 7. Brandon, what do you have for us?
2:08 here. We're opening half, and it is Austin down 14-7 to Riverside. Here just a few minutes ago at the 4:35 mark of the second, Riverside finally puts in Speedy Munoz at quarterback and certainly pays off as he finds wideout Adrian Estrada for a 16-yard touchdown. PAT was good, making the score Riverside 14-7 over Austin. That's 2 first-half touchdowns for Estrada, who does it all for Riverside. Then here just a couple minutes ago at the 2:08 mark here of the second, Austin quarterback Irving Cortinas throws an interception, and it was picked off by Ricky Briones, a defensive back for Riverside, who takes it all the way back about 40 yards to the 30-yard line of Austin. So now Riverside in business again, knocking on the door. Worth mentioning here, Austin going outside of their realm of comfort as they're throwing the ball more than they normally are, and unfortunately it's not paying off. 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Riverside 14-7 over Austin.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much. So 14-7, Riverside at Austin. We'll get a halftime update here in just a little bit, but an exciting game between the Rangers and the Panthers. Rangers, 2 unanswered touchdowns, 14 straight points after Austin takes a 7-0 lead. So right now, Riverside up on Austin, 14-7. Other action, Isleta all over Horizon early on, 21-0. Up in the land of enchantment, Roswell leading Mayfield 13-7. No score between Santa Teresa and Gadsden. At last check, Anthony trailed Sonora 14-0. And El Dorado all over Socorro 22-0. Last night, Pebble Hills defeated Franklin 34-14. And Debbing shut out Chaparral 53-0 up at Lobo Stadium. We're going to take a break, have much more, including more from our 915 Tours Game of the Week, plus a barn burner on the Smurf Turf. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. I'm Bo Bagley. The Riverside Rangers are threatening. After Austin threw an interception, Riverside now has the ball on the 10-yard line, looking to go up by 2 scores over the Austin Panthers. We'll head back out to the Iceman Brandon Cone in just a little bit. First, let's head out to the Smurf Turf. Canutillo hosting Chapin. Let's get an update from Adrian Broadus. Adrian.
Guys, 15 seconds left here until halftime. Looks like the clock will just run out. It's Canutillo all over Chapin, 13-0. The Canutillo Eagles have had a kind of a strange game. Running back L.J. Martin leads the way with 11 carries, 82 rushing yards, and a 25-yard rushing score. But he's been kind of in and out of the mix, dealing with a little bit of an injury to his right foot. But it seems like they're still rolling with him, both as a decoy and in, like, must-need situations. Third down plays, those kinds of plays, they're really incorporating L.J. Martin. On the other side, really like what I've seen from freshman Davion Singleton. It's a 44-yard pass to Savion Jordan, who has 2 catches for 66 receiving yards, but they have not been able to get a score on the board. They have a turnover on downs. They have a fumble that was, from Davion Singleton, and they have a missed field goal in this game. So I'm going to send it back to you guys, 13 seconds, and winding down here in the first half, Canutillo leads Chapin 13-0.
All right, Adrian, thank you so much. So basically halftime, 13-0 Canutillo over Chapin. L.J. Martin hampered a little bit, but still playing there, and he's a huge part of that Canutillo offense.
Yeah, without a doubt. Sorry, looking at other scores, our good buddy Russ Bannister shoots us a note from Hutchins Stadium, taking a look at Isleta, and Isleta jumped out to a 21-zip lead over winless Horizon. Horizon looking to go to 0-8 in that one. Isleta just desperate to get a district win. 1-6, I think they are on the season.
That's correct. So 1-6, both teams 0-2 in district coming into that one. So Isleta up 21-0 early on in that one. Hey, let's head out to Bel Air's Highlander Stadium. Bel Air hosting Parkland. This was all Parkland in the first quarter. Let's see if it's changed. Jeremy Karanka on the call. Jeremy, what do you got for us?
Well, Bo, we have 1:56 left to go in the second quarter, and Parkland now leads Bel Air 17-0. Adrian Loya knocks in a 42-yard field goal, just as you guys are bringing me on. Knock right in there. And so Parkland adds on and continues a shutout. They have stopped Bel Air offensively. Noah Moreno has been shut down. tonight, averaging 226 yards a game, just 57 thus far, and 2 interceptions. Those interceptions tonight for Parkland. Lakai Shannon, who also has some big plays rushing as well tonight. Parkland also running the ball as you'd expect. Isaiah Beasley, 85 yards on 14 carries already. And Miguel Echeverria, the sophomore quarterback, with a touchdown pass, 4 out of 10 for 36 yards. That touchdown to Ethan Ortega. But the big game changer early on, really taking the breath out of the stadium, was DJ Crest, 77-yard punt return, just after the first drive for Bel Air, where they were shut down, and that's how Parkland got their mojo started. So we're nearing halftime, 1:56, second quarter. Parkland 17 and Bel Air 0.
All right, Jeremy, thank you so much. 17-0 Parkland over Bel Air right now. Probably like what he said, a very quiet Highlander Stadium right now. We got an update from Jack Quarles, Don Brooks, Thunderbird Stadium. Americus right back in it. They get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Now trail Coronado by 3. It's 21-18. Coronado leads Americus in the second quarter, so that should be an interesting one. Other 6A action, Eastwood leading Montwood 7-3 in the second quarter, and El Dorado all over Socorro 22-0. That game at the SAC. Hey, let's head out to Hanks Excalibur Stadium and join J.D. Sursley for an update. Hanks was trailing Del Valle 14-0 in the first. Let's get an update from J.D. and see if anything's changed. J.D.
Nothing has changed, only but Del Valle keeps scoring. It is 3:48, Del Valle 27, Hanks 0. Hanks has done just enough to lose and not get points. They were driving both drives, but Drew Blanco in the last drive coughed up the ball going into the end zone, so they weren't able to get points. But no Jesse Ramos, but Damian Diaz says, no problem, I got your back, channeling his Cooper Rush, I guess you can say. He's pitching a good game, and he's over 200 yards already, and Del Valle 28, Hank 0, 3:48 left in the second quarter.
All right, JD, thank you so much. And when you say Cooper Rush, you got to see which one during the win streak or the last game against the Eagles, which one throwing interceptions or touchdowns. Who knows? But JD, thank you so much. Once again, 27-0 Del Valle over Hanks in the second quarter. Let's head out to Jefferson Silver Fox Stadium. Jefferson hosting Andress. It was 21-0 Eagles over the Silver Foxes in the first quarter. Let's get an update from Jerry Alvarez. Jerry.
With 4:59 left here at Silver Fox Stadium in the second quarter, it is Andrews 21, Jefferson 6. Right after we got off the phone last time, Jefferson on the very next play threw a 23-yard touchdown pass. They went for 2 right after. It was no good, which made it 6 here. On the ensuing drive, they were able to stop Andrews on turnover and downs. After that, Jefferson drove down the field in 3 plays, 60 yards, only to throw an interception in the end zone. And right now, it's just been a defensive battle in the second quarter. Right now, Jefferson currently has the ball at Andrews' 35-yard line, trying to score once again. It is 4:40 left in the second quarter. Andrews 21, Jefferson 6.
All right, Jerry, thank you so much. Let's see if Jefferson can inch their way back into this one. Down 21-0 in the first, now 21-6. Jefferson looking for their first district victory. Thank you, Jerry. Get an update from you just a little bit later. Let's head out to Burgess Mustang Stadium. Burgess also creeping back in this one. El Paso High back at full strength, leading 13-7 at last check. Let's go out to Coach Jaime Chavez for an update. Coach.
20 seconds left in the half. It is El Paso High 13 and Burgess 7. A pair of touchdowns involving the quarterback, Jerry Titus. He's got a 14-yard touchdown run and also a 33-yard touchdown pass to Edgar Garcia. And Burgess comes back. Andrew Rutledge fires a 15-yard touchdown pass to Anthony Aramijo. And Lorenzo Johnson for El Paso High, 8 carries, 70 yards rushing. So we've got 1 second left in the half, and it's at Burgess Mustang Stadium. It's El Paso High 13 and Burgess 7.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. So once again, 13-7, El Paso High holding on to a slim lead there in the second quarter. An exciting one over at Austin High School, I should say Bowie's Beatty-Cement Stadium. Austin hosting Riverside due to a light issue over at R.E. McKee Stadium. So Austin hosting Riverside at Bowie. Let's head back out to the Iceman, Brandon Cohn, for an update on our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Brandon.
We've reached the half, and it is Riverside 14-7 over Austin. Worth mentioning that Riverside was really knocking on the door right before the half expired. As Speedy there in quarterback at all, they got down to the 10-yard line, and Speedy Munoz gets sacked literally as time expires, and that was a big sack as by Rodriguez there for Albert Aranda, a linebacker for Austin to end the half, and therefore Riverside didn't score any more points to end the first half. Let's go ahead and look at some stats. Austin's quarterback, Irving Cortines, 13 yards through the air and an interception. Running back, Jaden Wilson, 15 carries, 73 yards, 1 touchdown. Also an interception as he's their star linebacker as well. On the other side, for Riverside, they've been going back and forth at QB. They started the game with, of course, Ian Mochin. Mochin right now is 8 of 19, for 139 yards. And then they went back to Speedy Munoz. Munoz, 3 of 4 completions for 63 yards, 1 touchdown there for Munoz. Also, Jose Huardo, he has right now 2 carries for 61 yards. Adrian Estrada, he has 2 receptions for 56 yards. Tristan Lopez has 2 receptions for 21 yards. And Speedy Munoz also has 2 receptions for 20 yards. We have reached the half, and right now it is 14-7 in favor of Riverside over Austin.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much. In our 915 Tours Game of the Week, Riverside leading Austin at halftime 14-7. Brandon, thank you so much. We got scores from all over the area. We'll have our local scoreboard brought to you by the Oscar Arrieta Agency. That's coming up next. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Let's go to our local scoreboard brought to you by the Oscar Arrieta Agency. Let's start in 6A. Eastwood leads Montwood 14-3, that at Trooper Stadium, that in the second quarter. Coronado surprisingly leading Americus 21-18, that in the second quarter. Americus coming back on this one trailing by 11, but with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, Americus very much in this game at Quarles Brooks Thunderbird Stadium. Over to 5A. Chapin and Canutillo. Canutillo leading Chapin 13-0 at halftime. Parkland all over Bel Air. That's undefeated Bel Air at Highlander Stadium. 17-0 in the second quarter. Del Valle all over Hanks in the second quarter. 27-0. Andrus leading Jefferson at Silver Fox Stadium. 21-6. And El Paso High leading Burgess 13-7, that in the second quarter. Elsewhere, Bowie leads San Elizario in the second quarter, 13-0. Isleta all over Horizon early on in the second quarter, 21-0. Back to 6A, El Dorado leading Socorro at halftime, 29-0. And Monaghan's all over Fabens, 54-0, that at halftime starting the third quarter right now. Anthony trailing Sonora, 41-0 in the fourth quarter in the Land of Enchantment. Roswell leading Mayfield 13-7, and no score between Santa Teresa and Gadsden. We'll get an update from that a little bit later. That is your local scoreboard, brought to you by the Oscar Arrieta Agency, from a locally owned insurance agency. The Oscar Arrieta Agency is proud to serve El Paso with 7 locations from the west side to Fabens. The Oscar Arrieta Agency can help with your home, auto, and life insurance. Oscar Arrieta is the official insurance agent of the Utah Miners. Visit Rise Up 915 to learn more about prizes and giveaways for the Oscar Arrieta Agency. So, Paul, let's talk about the first half of a lot of these games as they're going into halftime. Your initial thoughts as you look at some of these games.
Oh, well, let's start with the game of the week. That's about where I expected it. You think Riverside may be the bigger dog in this fight, but a good game, 14-7 at the half. Austin tried to get a little bit tricky, wound up burning them. They decided to, try and throw a pass. Usually with teams like this, when you throw the ball up the field, you throw it to make a big play. And you usually try to throw it where nobody else is going to get it except your guy. Deeper out, throw it toward the sidelines. If he makes a great catch, you got to play. If he's covered, it just winds up going out of bounds. Well, force the ball a little bit, and it came back the other way. So I think they probably learned from that. But Austin, again, is right there, and it's a matter of the same thing. Can you stop their ground game?
Absolutely. In a tight game like this, what's for all likelihood, all intent and purpose, the district title, Riverside leaving some points there on the board, though. Have the ball at the 10-yard line right before halftime. They take a sack, don't even get a try at a field goal or anything, so leaving some points there on the board.
And I think you see what happens when you're playing a team that's close to you. I mean, Austin Riverside is a good matchup. Before this, Riverside had Alamogordo. That was a big game, and they found a way to come through that. Bushland was a little more than they could handle. They hung with those guys for close to a half before that one got away. I think Bushland was number 8 or number 6 in the state ranked at the time of that contest. But Austin coming from the 5A district, and they're always a team, and I'm sure they only have 21 guys on their roster or something paltry like that. That's how it's been the last several years. They just find a way to ugly the game up. I don't think anybody's happier that Austin moved out of district, to 5A it was last year, than the Burgess Mustangs. Mustangs have been champions of that district, co-champs one year, tri-champs a couple of those years. They could never find a way to beat Austin, and it was always ugly. 7-6, we missed an extra point, and Austin took them apart last year. So this is a team. If you're not able to stop what they do, you're not able to stop them because they'll just go right through you. And they find a way to get on the field with good teams and make good teams play poorly. And I think that's what they've done to Riverside in the first half. To Riverside's credit, they're still ahead 14-7.
Very much so. And then you look at the 6A games. Montwood maybe hanging in there, just 14-3. Americus and Coronado. Coronado leading Americus by 3. That's got to shock some people as Coronado comes into this winless in the district, while Americus is fighting for one of those playoff spots at 3-3.
Yeah, Matt Moore, a 14-yard touchdown run to get Americas close within 3 of Coronado. Remember, he's coming off a 6-touchdown performance a week ago in that crazy El Dorado game, 49-42 final. Americas found a way to hang on to that one, which is the reason they're still in the playoff hunt, just barely.
Barely, that's right. And El Dorado, once again, all over Socorro tonight. El Dorado needs to win out and maybe some help, and they could be some help tonight from the Coronado T-Birds if they upset Americus tonight. And once again, Bel Air undefeated for the first time at 7-0 for the first time since 1992, and so far without their leading rusher, having a hard time against the Parkland Matadors.
And that's what I was talking about earlier with El Paso High. You're happy, all the guys are coming back for El Paso High, but for Bel Air, this is your biggest game in years. You have your sights set on the district championship. Here comes one of the big dogs in that district, Parkland. Of course, the other one's Del Valle, which is, for another night. And you don't have your bestest weapon on the field. It's just disappointing. You still have a 2-year starting quarterback, a junior, Noah Moreno. You still have Chris Davis, who has big numbers. I think he was 140 away from the 1,000-yard mark, coming into the night. So you got some weapons, but you don't have the weapon. And a lot of times when you don't have the weapon, all the other ones don't matter.
Absolutely, and what a game there between these teams. And Bel Air, we'll see if they can make it a fun second half there at Highlander Stadium for the Bel Air faithful. We're going to take a quick break, come back with halftime reports. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. We have some exciting games in 6A. Let's get right to it. Trooper Stadium, this one winding down the first half between Montwood and Eastwood. Let's head out to Trooper Stadium and join Steve Escajeda for an update. Steve.
Thanks a lot, guys. We're here at halftime at Eastwood Stadium, and it's been all Troopers. They're on top of Montwood 21-3. Eastwood scoring twice in the second quarter. Both on running plays. Evan Mijares, the quarterback, on a 41-yard keeper right up the middle, untouched basically. And then with 9 seconds left to go right before halftime, Max Mancia running in for 5 yards to give Eastwood that 21-3 lead. Amazingly, guys, when you think of Eastwood, you all think of what? Passing, right? Well, they've got 3 touchdowns in the first half, all 3 on the ground. In fact, they've thrown the ball for 62 yards tonight. They've run it for 179 yards. And that's on 17 carries, which comes up to about a 10.5 yard per rush average. So, again, they've been dominating on the ground. Evan Mijares, the quarterback, only 5 out of 11 in the first half, 62 yards. That big quarterback battle we were anticipating has not come about. Montwood's Isaac Galvan, 13 out of 23 for only 93 yards. Neither quarterback has scored for 100 yards so far, which is just kind of shocking tonight. So far on the ground, Montwood is being led by Isaiah Claudio, who's got 58 yards. And, again, very little offense, believe it or not, by both teams. A couple of turnovers by Montwood has led to a couple of easy Eastwood scores. And, again, the big thing tonight is Eastwood's running game. Again, 179 yards at halftime. They come into the game averaging 171 for the game. So I've got a feeling they're going to keep on doing that, eating up the clock. And, that's a great way to keep Montwood's Isaac Galvan off the field. We're at halftime. We just went to halftime. It's Eastwood all over Montwood, 21-3.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. That Montwood magic might be a little deflated tonight. Montwood has really played well of late, but put some other top teams to the test. But right now it's all Eastwood at Trooper Stadium.
Yeah, I think you might have hit it. I mean, a lot of game to go, and they have an offense that can score quickly. But deflated, how could they not be? How many close losses? San Angelo Central, 3-point loss. They're down 3, driving with 20 seconds left against Americas. They throw an end zone interception. Could have won that one. They get the nail biter against Franklin several weeks back. 43-42 on the 2-pointer on the botched kick attempt for the win, and that was final minute of the contest. But I think last week's a heartbreaker. The Alvarez kid, I think it's a 68-yard catch, and the only thing he did wrong was scoring too soon, because he makes the end zone. They're up 4 points with 3 minutes and 50-some-odd seconds. And Pebble Hills, they're such a veteran club with so many underclassmen, juniors all over the place, but they just look like they've been doing it for years. Drive down the field, take the clock. Kyle Ochoa goes in from 8 yards out with 8 seconds left. And now Montwood has to get back on the field against Eastwood. Like I said, it's not done. I love their passing game. They have 4 receivers. They have the deepest receiver core in the city. 5 guys that just catch everything that gets thrown to them. And it seems like they're always open. Diego Oaxaca, of course, and Alvarez at the top of that food chain. But, how many close losses can you take and keep on going? We'll see if they're able to get up off the mat again. This hasn't been their MO in the other contests. They've been in those games. They're down 21-3. That's a lot to a good Eastwood team.
Absolutely. We'll see if they can come back. Like you just said, Montwood has the offense to do it. We'll see if they can. Let's head out to Coronado's Thunderbird Stadium. Boy, what a game for the Coronado T-Birds. Just keep putting it on to the America's Trailblazers. Let's head out to Joey Panisi, get an update on Coronado hosting Americas. Joey.
Yes, from Coronado High School with 1 minute and 31 seconds left in the second quarter. The T-Birds now lead 28-18. Owen Levesque has been amazing. Coronado lost some momentum early in the second quarter. They had sacked Mark Moore hard. Blake Randak just nailed him. And then they picked off a pass and drove it down. And then there was a fumble, and Americas got control of it. And that's when Mark Moore rumbled a quarterback draw in from 14 yards out line and then tacked the 2-point conversion over. But Coronado fought back, and Owen Levesque found David Abarca alone in the end zone on a 3rd and 22 yards and threw a BB right into his chest. The point after touchdown was good. Coronado's looking good to score again right now with 1 minute and 25 seconds left in the second quarter. The T-Birds, I'm going to stick my neck out and say this is the best half they've played in many, many moons. It's Coronado 28, America's 18.
All right, Joey, thank you so much. Best half. All right, Joey's sticking his neck out there, but I think we'd all agree. Coronado coming into this one 1-6 overall, 0-5 in district, yet lead Americus right now 28-18 by 10 in the second quarter. This is what hopefully Mike Pry envisioned at Coronado, and they're putting it to the Americus Trailblazers right now.
And, it don't mean a thing unless you're able to hold on for another, what is it in high school, 24 minutes, 12-minute quarter. So, nice first half. Talk to me about it in another hour and 20 minutes.
You got it. This one inching closer to halftime is Letta leading Horizon 28-0. These games should be at halftime. Let's head out to Jeremy Karanko at Highlander Stadium. Last check, it was 17-0 Parkland over Bel Air. Let's get an update from Jeremy Karanko. Jeremy.
Yeah, halftime here at Highlander Stadium, and it is Parkland still leading Bel Air 17-0. To get you an idea on how big this game is for Bel Air, first winning season since '92, as we mentioned all night. First winning season since 2015, and most wins since 2004. And this is the biggest game Bel Air has seen on their home turf, and it's packed tonight. But Parkland has put away the pressure early, and 77-yard punt return touchdown will do that. DJ Crest did that after the first drive for Bel Air. They went 3 and out. Ethan Ortega, also for Parkland, has a 9-yard touchdown reception from Miguel Echeverria, and Adrian Loya knocked in a 41-yard field goal. But you look at the yardage, it's not that bad. Parkland 169 to Bel Air's 118, but it's been Isaiah Beasley controlling the clock and controlling the momentum and opening the playbook. 107 yards on 15 rushes, and Miguel Echeverria found a touchdown to, as I mentioned, Ethan Ortega from 9 yards out. For Bel Air stat-wise, Noah Moreno, this offense, going to be struggling without their leading rusher, Zach Martinez, out injured. 10 out of 17 for Moreno, 83 yards, but he has 2 costly interceptions to Parkland's Makai Shannon, who had one in the end zone on the second-to-last drive for Bel Air before halftime. Chris Davis, 140 yards from the 1,000-yard mark. He has 54 on 7 receptions. But that's it so far for Bel Air. They'll need him out to come back. It's Parkland 17-0 at halftime.
And, Bo, we keep talking about, injured guys and guys coming back. Parkland's one of those teams. Man, they just keep going. You hear the sophomore quarterback, Miguel Echeverria, took over the quarterback spot, I guess. I guess that's a done deal. Took it over from Eric Ortiz, the junior, and, he's been effective. Anthony Carrillo from week 2, that was their starting running back, had big expectations. Isaiah Beasley was a receiver this year. They had a lot of offensive talent on the field, but, Carrillo goes down. They're hoping to get him back. They've been hoping for several weeks now. Playoffs are coming. Hopefully he gets back on the field. But Beasley, they just plug him in, and he produces. Of course, he was the workhorse running back a year ago. They wanted to do something differently, but, I guess the Fates had different plans. But Parkland, as I said, they just continue to go forward. When you got a guy like DJ Crest on the field, touchdown reception last week, 2 weeks ago, in the narrow 2014 loss to a very good Devi team, and gets things rolling here tonight in a huge game for them at Bel Air, the 68-yard punt return. Players make plays, and DJ Crest is a player, and I think Texas Tech would agree.
Yeah, he can do that in offense and special teams. He's a huge role, plays a huge role for the Parkland Matadors, leading Bel Air 17-0 at halftime. This one is all Del Valle at Hanks Excalibur Stadium. Let's head out to JD Sursley for an update. At last check, it was 27-0 Del Valle over Hanks. JD, what's the update?
All right, update is that it's finally at halftime. Thank the Lord. Hanks has been giving Del Valle more and more gifts. It is now Del Valle 35, Hanks 0 at halftime. Damian Diaz with 4 touchdowns, pushing over 300 yards at half. Shelton Fuller on the ground with a 50-yard touchdown on the ground. Jonathan Estrada, Jesse Ramos, and R.J. Bracamontes with 2 touchdowns and a half. Definitely Del Valle all over, and unless you've been under a rock, according to Coach Sines, the last time that Del Valle did not make the playoffs, it was in the 02-03 season. So Let's not change what's been working for 20 years. Del Valle is on the roll still. Del Valle 35, Hank 0 at halftime.
All right, JD, thank you so much. Boy, I'll Devy all day today.
Yeah, and a great stat from JD, 2002. You remember Jesse Perales took over that program in 2004. So that means every year that Perales was there, the Del Valle Conquistadors went to the playoffs. His protege, I guess you could say, Rudy Contreras, left behind. And, same old verse, second verse, same as the first, playoffs. So what a run.
Almost started with Chuck Valise there before Jesse.
Yeah, there was a little hiccup in there between. I think Rick Bolanos was there for 6 or 7 games maybe.
There you go. But Devy just steamrolling right now, 35-0 over Hanks at halftime. Let's head out to Jefferson Silver Fox Stadium. Join Jerry Alvarez for an update. Jefferson hosting Andress. This game should be at half. Let's get an update from Jerry. Jerry, take it away.
It is halftime here at Silver Fox Stadium. It is Andress 35, Jefferson 6. It has been all Andress this game, or I should say actually Malcolm Anderson. He has 11 carries for 153 yards and 2 TDs on the night. And this has been a big defensive game for Andress as well, as they did get an interception by Andrew Cabral. But on the ensuing drive for Jefferson, they drove it down the field after 3 big plays, went for a field goal, and Malcolm Anderson actually comes across the line and makes a big block for the Andress Eagles. And on the ensuing drive, they take it down the field. Elias Duncan runs it for 36 yards to set up a 15-yard run by Malcolm Anderson once again. So like I said, Malcolm Anderson has just been a one-man show tonight here against the Jefferson Silver Foxes. The only thing of note for Jefferson was a 23-yard pass from Gutierrez to Roman Gomez to put them on the board, but it has been Andress all night here, 35-6 over the Jefferson Silver Foxes, with a big showing tonight by Malcolm Anderson, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. So tonight, that is halftime here at Silver Fox Stadium. It is Andress 35, Jefferson 6.
All right, Jerry, thank you very much. Boy, the Malcolm Anderson show, Anderson for Andress show over there at Silver Fox Stadium, 35-6, Andress over Jeff at halftime. Let's head out to Burgess Mustang Stadium. This game should be at half between Burgess and El Paso High. At last check, it was 13-7. Tigers over Mustangs. Oh, my. Let's head out to the coach, Jaime Chavez, for an update. Coach.
The halftime homecoming festivities are winding down here at the Burgess Mustang Stadium. It's El Paso High 13 and Burgess 7. El Paso High quarterback Jerry Chaitis, he's got a 14-yard touchdown run and a 33-yard touchdown pass to Edgar Garcia. And for Burgess, Andrew Routledge, a 15-yard touchdown pass to Anthony Armijo. Chaitis tonight, he's 6 of 9, 98 yards passing, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. He's got 3 carries for 25 yards rushing. And back in the lineup for El Paso High is running back Lorenzo Johnson, correction on that. He's got 8 carries and 70 yards rushing. And Johnson has missed a month of action because he had a fractured wrist in week 4 this season. For Burgess, Andress Routledge, he's carrying the bulk of the load for the Burgess offense. He's 6 of 12 and 52 yards passing, 5 carries and 27 yards rushing for the senior quarterback, Andrew Routledge. And he fired a 15-yard touchdown pass to Anthony Armijo, Burgess's only score, but Routledge has been sacked 3 times tonight. So we're just about to get started with the second half at Burgess's Mustang Stadium. El Paso High 13, Burgess 7.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. 13-7, El Paso High over Burgess. Interesting game there. See El Paso High playing well of late, and as we talked about so much on this show already, pretty much back to full strength the Tigers are. So see if they can improve to 5-3, 2-1 in district would be a big win for them.
And you see how much these games mean to these kids. Still wearing a cast. Broken wrist. He broke his scaphoid bone, a bone I'm very familiar with. That's one, at least this is what the bone doctor told me. He said, especially once you get into your 20s, your bones get a little less elastic. And usually when you fall on your hands and you catch yourself with your hands, a little bone in your wrist will break. I don't know that that's what happened to Johnson. He's not old enough for his bones to be getting brittle yet, but I'm just saying it does happen, especially to a lot of the weekend warriors. On the other side, Andrew Rutledge, you don't want to say poor guy, but he's playing quarterback at a relatively high level. He knows what he's doing back there. 3-year starter, a senior now, of course, coach's kid. Just not a lot of help. We've talked about it before. They all graduated last year. Ray Campos is gone. Of course, Tavares Jones, the biggest of that. But Sean Street was on the offensive side of the ball, catching passes. Adam Sosa, everybody he looked to last year, and everybody who made plays for him, those folks are not around anymore. You know, he's throwing to guys like Alec Herrera, who make occasional plays, but just not as talent rich. And, I just think Rutledge has got to kind of feel like, Custer, surrounded and by himself.
Absolutely. Boy, it's tough. Surrounded by General Custer. Don't want to Custer's last stand. Absolutely. Thank you to Dr. Paul McKinnon for that update. Appreciate it. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. Come back with scores. Halftimes all around from the 915. We'll have Land of Enchantment scores. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Let's get to your local scoreboard brought to you by the Oscar Arieta Agency. Let's start with 6A at halftime. Eastwood over Montwood 21-3. Troopers have played well on offense and defense. Coronado leading Americus 28-18. Also, El Dorado leading Socorro 29-0 at halftime. Of course, Thursday night, Pebble Hills in a big one defeated Franklin 34-14. In 5A, Chapin and Canutillo over on the Smurf turf at Lowenberg Stadium. Canutillo now up 19-0 in the third quarter. Parkland all over Bel Air 17-0 at halftime. Del Valle all over Hanks 35-0 at half. And Andress up on Jefferson 35-6 at halftime. Over at Burgess Mustang Stadium, Burgess trails El Paso High at half 13-7. Isleta leading Horizon 28-0. Bowie over Sanelli 13-0. Let's go out to Monahans. This is a final, our first final of the night. 61-0. Monahans defeats Fabens. Once again, that's a final. Monahans wins it 61-0. Fabens drops to 2-6. 0-3 in district, while Monahans improves to 3-0. Up in the Land of Enchantment, some scores at halftime. Carlsbad leads Las Cruces 7-0. Roswell all over Mayfield at halftime 42-7. Oregon Mountain, yikes, trailing Hobbs at halftime 41-0. Gadsden leading Santa Teresa 14-0 at halftime. And lastly, Anthony down at Sonora Anthony trails Sonora 41-0 at last check. That game should be final. We'll have a final here in just a little bit. Let's now head out to our out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Longhorn Distributing and Paul McKinnon. Paul.
But first, from Bowie's Beatty Smang Stadium, Riverside, Austin, it's that man again, Jaden Wilson, 28-yard touchdown run, extra point, no good. Riverside hanging on to a slim 14-13 lead, 49 seconds left in the third quarter, out again at Bowie's Beatty Smang. You want to go?
Yeah, let's go out to that 915 Tours Game of the Week and the update from Brandon Cohn. Brandon, take it away.
The start of the fourth quarter is here in this epic game. It's Austin and Riverside has a narrow 14-13 lead over Austin. At the 6:02 mark here of the third quarter, it was Riverside's quarterback Munchian throwing an interception at the Austin 42, picked off by quarterback / defensive end Irving Cortinas. Motion's second interception of the evening. Then with 49 seconds left in the third quarter, Austin capitalizing on the Riverside blunder as running back Jaden Wilson scores a second touchdown of the first or to have the game, rather. It was a 28-yard score. They end up going for two, little trickery, but it's no good. Hence the 14-13 score here. Riverside with a narrow lead over Austin. Get this, Wilson, 25 carries, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception for the Austin Panthers. We have begun the fourth quarter. Great game in our 915 Tours Game of the Week. It is Riverside 14-13 over Austin.
Oh, this is going to be a great one. Brandon, thank you so much. 14-13 in the fourth quarter. Riverside leading Austin by just 1 point. Now time for our Longhorn Distributing out-of-town scoreboard. Let's go back to Paul.
Bo, thanks so much. Some good ones out there. District 2 6A. Boy, how hot has Wolford Friendship been this year? 6-1 coming into tonight's action. 2-0 in District 2 6A. Already with a win over Midland, and then now they're trying to put Permian on their wall as well. 41-35, that one into the fourth quarter. Friendship leads Permian. And what about Legacy? Boy, they got off the mat a week ago, just 2-4, and they did put Permian on their wall. Huge win for them, and they look to double down tonight against undefeated in the district San Angelo Central at Grande Communication Center in Midland. Legacy up on top of Central easily, 49-29. Again, fourth quarter score. Looks like Legacy's going to win that one, move to 2-1, 4-4 in that district. Any worries they weren't going to make the playoffs? Okay, you could probably knock that off, as if anybody was really worried. Elsewhere, Midland at Odessa, the battle of the winless in that district. Midland 41-31 over Odessa, looking to move to 5-3 on the season, get their first win. Odessa sits at 3-4, 0-2 in District 2 5A. Abilene High 28-0 over Lubbock Coronado, looking to move to 3-2 in that district. Only score from them, 2-5A Division 2, Abilene Wiley all over Lubbock. 43-0. Remember, they just took down Wichita Falls Rider a week ago. I think that final was 39-38. So Wiley, the front runner in that district. Other scores: Abilene Cooper 21-0 over Plainview in a battle of 1-1 teams, both 3-4 on the season. Wichita Falls Rider back with a vengeance, 42-7. They lead Amarillo Palo Duro, trying to stay close to Wiley, 2-1 in that district, 4-3 coming into the contest. Elsewhere, District 2 4A, Brownwood all over Estacado, 45-14. They look to move to 3-0, 7-2 on the season. Big Spring up on Lakeview, 14-7 in a battle of winless teams. And West Plains in District 2 4A, Division 2. These are the guys that Clint and Mountain View, if they're fortunate enough to make the playoffs, may run into. West Plains leads Perryton 45-42. Longhorn Distributing out-of-town scoreboard.
All right, Paul, thank you so much. We all need a little water here. Out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by the only hot seat dealer in West Texas and southern New Mexico. Your source for cleaning equipment, service, and supplies, Longhorn Distributing. 5516 East Paisano Drive in El Paso. One scoreboard update here from locally. Parkland tacks on a little bit more. They're now up 23-0 over Bel Air in the third quarter. We're going to take a break and do our 2-minute drill. Hear from all of our reporters all over town. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night right here on ESPN El Paso, Week 9, and some exciting games here. We got Coronado leading Americus 28-18, Eastwood over Montwood 21-3, Burgess making it interesting, trailing El Paso High by 3. Tigers now lead it 13-10. Andrus over Jefferson so far in the second half, 35-6. Delvi all over Hanks, 35-0 in the second half. Isleta over Horizon, 21-0 in the third quarter. And Bowie leading San Elizario, 25-0 in the third quarter. Let's head out to our 915 Tours Game of the Week and join Brandon Cohn, who had a fun one at Bowie's Beatty Smang Stadium between the Austin Panthers and Riverside Rangers. Brandon.
9:10 left in this contest, and Riverside has taken a 27-13 lead over Austin at the 11:01 mark of the fourth. Riverside running back Adrian Estrada scores on a stunning 63-yard TD, his third of the game. The PAT was no good, though, making the score Riverside 20-13 over Austin. Then at the 9:47 mark of the fourth, Austin tries to pull a shtick play as quarterback Cortinas pitches it to Jose Andujo. He ends up throwing an interception, though, at the Austin 40, picked by Riverside's Ricky Briones. Then at the 9-10 mark, a couple plays down the road there, Motion throws a 36-yard touchdown to his wideout, Jose Huardo, making the score Riverside 27-13 over Austin. We have 9 minutes to go in this contest at Beatty Semang Stadium. Riverside 27, Austin 13.
Wow, the Rangers have exploded here in the fourth quarter. Brandon, thank you so much. What a game for the Riverside Rangers in the second half, leading Austin 27-13. Let's head out to Lowenberg Stadium. Canutillo hosting Chapin. Get an update from Adrian Broadus. Adrian.
1 minute, 48 seconds left here in the third quarter. Canutillo all over Chapin, 19-0. No star running back L.J. Martin for the Eagles in this one. He is out with a foot injury. It's been Jeremiah Knox. It's been wide receiver Lorenzo Areola who have scored here in the second half. It was a 42-yard screen pass that Lorenzo Areola took to the house, thrown by Jeremiah Knox. This one for the Chapin Huskies has been tough to get any sort of yards. Davion Singleton, 6 of 11 through the air for 93 yards and 60 rushing yards on the ground. A minute left here in the third quarter. It's Canutillo all over Chapin, 19-0.
All right, Adrian, thank you so much. 19-0. Canutillo Eagles over the Chapin Huskies. Last check, it was 21-3. Eastwood over Montwood at halftime after a big second quarter for the Eastwood Troopers. Let's head back out to Steve Escajeda with an update from Trooper Stadium. Steve.
We've got 8:43 now left to go in the third quarter, and we've got a new score. It's now Eastwood 28, Montwood 3. Quarterback Evan Minhades scoring on a 1-yard run, and Eastwood again sticking to that ground game. Believe it or not, 34 yards passing for Eastwood, 213 yards, and 4 touchdowns on the ground. It's all Eastwood. They're doing it very differently tonight, but it's working. 8:43 to go in the third. Eastwood 28, Montwood 3.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. Wow, 28-3. The Eastwood Troopers showing they're the real deal tonight. Let's head out to Joey Panisi at Coronado hosting Americus. This has been an exciting one if you're a Coronado T-Bird fan. Joey, take it away.
Yes, from Coronado Thunderbird Stadium, we're at the half, and the T-Birds lead the Americas Trailblazers 28-18. Coming into this game, we know that it would be a showdown of two great quarterbacks, and it's been just that. Coming into this game, both quarterbacks have accounted for 11 touchdowns. At the end of the game, I'll give a wrap-up and say how they fared from here. So with time left in half, because it's homecoming, it's T-Birds 28, Trailblazers 18.
All right, Joey, thank you so much. Still at half there. Coronado leading Americans 28-18. This is part of our 2-minute drill brought to you by the El Paso Association of Builders. Let's head out to Bel Air's Highlanders Stadium and join Jeremy Caranco for an update on Bel Air hosting Parkland.
1:37 left to go in the third quarter, and Parkland is now leading Bel Air 30-0. Jamal Bamba, a 10-yard fumble return touchdown to the 6:29 mark. Noah Moreno's rough night continues. 3 interceptions and now a fumble that goes for a Parkland touchdown. And Isaiah Beasley, biggest play from scrimmage tonight, a 63-yard rush to the one, and he scores 2 plays later to make it 30-0. With 1:37 left to go in the third quarter, Parkland 30 and Bel Air 0.
Woo! 30-0. The Parkland Matadors bull rushing the Bel Air Highlanders. Jeremy, thank you so much. Let's head out to J.D. Sursley at Excalibur Stadium. Hanks hosting Del Valle. Another tough one for the Hanks Knights. J.D., what's the update there?
11 minutes left in the third quarter, just getting underway. 35, Del Valle, Hanks 0. Hanks has the ball, but Del Valle with no Jesse Ramos. Damian Diaz says, no problem, I got you. In the first half, 4 touchdowns, pushing for 300 yards. Shelton Fuller with 50 on the ground. It's been Del Valle all night so far. Hanks is driving those. Del Valle 35, Hanks 0. 11 minutes left in that third quarter.
All right, JD, thank you so much. It's been all Del Valle in the first half. See what Hanks can do in the second half here. Thank you, JD. Let's head out to Jefferson Silver Fox Stadium. Join Jerry Alvarez with an update on Andrus and Jefferson. Jerry.
With 5:15 left in the third quarter, it is still Andrews 35, Jefferson 6. Jefferson took the opening second half kickoff, drove it for about 6 minutes to midfield, but Andrews' defense still holding strong. Currently, Andrews has the ball, starting to drive, looking to score again. It is Andrews 35, Jeff 6, with 5:12 remaining in the third quarter.
All right, Jerry, thank you very much. Andrus up 35-6 has been the Malcolm Anderson show for the Andrus Eagles today. They're leading Jefferson 35-6 in the third. Let's head out to Burgess Mustang Stadium. Burgess creeping back in this one with El Paso High. Let's get an update with Coach Jaime Chavez. Coach.
2:22 left in the third quarter. Mustang Stadium, El Paso High 20, Burgess 10. Lorenzo Johnson just had a 75-yard touchdown run, 10 carries, 155 yards rushing thus far for Johnson. And the other scoring for El Paso High, Jerry Titus, a 14-yard touchdown run, and he fired a 33-yard touchdown pass to Edgar Garcia. The scoring for Burgess, Andrew Routledge, a 15-yard touchdown pass to Anthony Armijo, and also Danny Guillen kicked a 38-yard field goal for Burgess. 2:12 left in the third quarter. At Burgess Stadium, it's El Paso High 20, Burgess 10.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. And we've got a final from Lobo Stadium, Mountain View hosting Fort Stockton. Let's go back out to Joe Rodriguez. And with the final here, Joe, take it away.
Thank you very much. The Fort Stockton Panthers have picked up their 7th victory of the season, 3rd in district play by defeating the Mountain View Lobos on the Mountain View Lobos homecoming night by the score of 62-21. With this most recent defeat, the Mountain View Lobos dropped to 5-3, 1-2 in district play, and unfortunately for the Lobos, things do not get any easier for them. As next week they will host Monahan. One of the, without a doubt, the class of the field in this district 2-4A, while the Fort Stockton Panthers will host Pecos about 4 hours here from the borderland. So that's all out here from Mountain View High School out in Montana Vista, where the Fort Stockton Panthers defeated the Mountain View Lobos by the score of 62-21.
All right, Joe, thank you so much. We'll see you at our post-game hotspot, Union Draft House at Sunland Park. Great place to convene and talk some high school football with
Almost
us.
there.
Locally owned Draft House with 100 beers on tap. Great place to catch the game or talk sports with delicious food. Union Draft House on Sunland Park. And that is our 2-minute drill brought to you by the El Paso Association of Builders. I think that'll be the last time Mountain View hosts Fort Stockton for their homecoming. And, boy, a really tough week now for Mountain View with Monahans coming next week. Monahans defeated Fabens tonight 61-0 in Monahans. We have updates from other scores from around the borderland. Bowie leads San Elizario 25-0. Isleta leading Horizon in the third quarter 28-0. El Dorado all over Socorro 29-0. And that is your 2-minute drill brought to you by the El Paso Association of Builders. Real high school football action is brought to you by Real Texas Builders. Ask your home builder if they're members of the El Paso Association of Builders, the home of Real Texas Builders, elpasobuilders.com. We're going to take a break. Much more action. We'll get an update from our 915 Tours Game of the Week, Riverside and Austin. That's next on Football Friday Night. Welcome back to Football Friday Night Week 9, and we're getting down to the wire here. It's time to go out to 915 Tours Game of the Week. 915 Tours, a division of classic elegance coaches. Oh, they want to take you to the big game down at AT&T Stadium, the Dallas Cowboys game. But first, let's head out to Austin, hosting Riverside at Bowie's Beatty Cement Stadium, and join the Iceman, Brandon Cohn, for an update on our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Brandon.
1:33 left in this contest, and all Riverside as they now lead 33-13 over Austin. at the just a couple seconds ago, really, at the 133 mark here now. Riverside puts the exclamation point on this one. Put a bow on it. It's wrapped up. No pun intended, Bo, but Adrian Estrada scores his 4th touchdown of the evening, this time a 3-yard TD, making the score Riverside 33-13. Worth noting, and really it's not relevant at this point, but I will say it anyways, what the heck. Speedy Munoz gets actually his second unsportsmanlike penalty in one this half, one last half. He's ejected at the 8:08 mark of the 4th quarter. Other than that, it's all Riverside, 33-13, 127 left in this contest.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much. Boy, Adrian Estrada, 4 TDs tonight for the Riverside Rangers, most of them here coming in the second half, pulling away up by 20. This is the Riverside Rangers offense that we've known that they can put up points the last 2 years, and they're finally doing it tonight in the second half.
And the Estrada kid, for a large part of the last couple of years, really hiding on the defensive side of the ball. They kind of unveiled him against Alamogordo, had a huge game there, and he's just a weapon in the open field. Energizer Bunny, people hit him, and he spins and bounces and all that good stuff, and next thing you know, 60 yards down the field. So Guardado's effective. Of course, you have Angel Munoz when he can control his temper and stay on the field. And then you can plug in Adrian Estrada, who's really explosive wherever he is.
Absolutely. That could be tough for the Austin Panthers if Angel Munoz is not available. They play at Bowie next week. But still, you need your best players available as you're prepping for the playoffs.
Undefeated Bowie, by the way. I'm sure Coach Vale and his crew will say thank you very much. Say a few more four-letter words if you so choose. But I don't know if it'll matter. Bowie undefeated. They looked pretty good last week. I saw them against Irvin, 28-21. Joe Rodriguez, couple of touchdown runs. Angel Crosco, one of his own, but. Yeah, I don't think they're the caliber of the Riverside Angels or Angel Munoz or no.
Yeah, Riverside, or I should say Bowie up 25-0 in the second half against San Elizario. Let's head out to Canutillo Julius and Irene Lowenberg Stadium, Canutillo hosting Chapin, and Canutillo without running back L.J. Martin in the second half. Let's get an update from Adrian Broadus on this one between two undefeated teams in district. Adrian.
8:30 left here in the game. Canutillo all over Chapin, 19-0 still here at Canutillo High School. I want to mention, I'll mention a couple stats here. Again, you mentioned it, Bo. No L.J. Martin in the second half. He had about 80 yards before checking out of this game and a touchdown. He's got a right foot injury. He's got ice on that foot. But I want to mention two guys specifically. It's the Carrillo brothers. Eduardo Carrillo has had over 100 yards today in both kickoff and punt returns and has just done a really nice job at helping this team out when they need it. Chewy Carrillo, the senior, he had a really key sack on Chapin freshman quarterback Davion Singleton, who, by the way, Davion Singleton, a freshman. He's being coached by Ryan Warner, coach, of course, we know for Chapin High School, but he's also being coached by Trevor Vitito, the former UTEP great, who is now an offensive quarterbacks coach with the Chapin Huskies. He's going to get there someday. It's just not today. 7 for 17 through the air, 115 passing yards, also 69 rushing yards on the ground. 8 minutes left here in this one. Canutillo all over Chapin, 19-0.
All right, Adrian, thank you very much. As this one's trickling down, looks like it's going to be another Canutillo victory as they're going to improve to 6-2 overall, 3-0 in district. In this one, Chapin, they've had a tough preseason, I should say, before district started. But coming in this 2-0, they may be maybe not be the caliber of Canutillo, but certainly a solid team, but just didn't have enough tonight.
Yeah, L.J. Martin going down helps considerably, but still 19-0. This is a Chapin team that was in free fall. I remember week 1, we thought, wow, how good is Coronado the way they're handling Chapin? Well, it turned out Chapin not so hot, off to an 0-4 start. The only win they could get was against Chaparral, but the one move they made was taking that freshman that Adrian was just talking about, Davion Singleton. He was the running back first month of the season, plugged him in at quarterback. 3-0 coming into tonight. I ran into They went through Burgess a week ago, and I ran into their defensive coordinator, Bernie Luna. How this guy does not have a head job somewhere, I do not know. 7 straight playoffs the Burgess Mustangs have been in, and he's been their defensive coordinator for, 7 straight seasons, maybe plus. A big part of that, the first one under Marcus Graham, that's how he got the Socorro job. Bernie Luna, a big part of that. But anyway, Luna was telling me, they had this freshman kid in there, this Singleton kid, and we knew he could run, so we figured, okay, well, he's a freshman. We just got to stop the run. He probably can't throw. Well, unfortunately, and he hadn't thrown, by the way, on film, but there is film on him now because he threw for, I think it was 235 a week ago, a couple of long touchdown passes. And, by the way, Chapin has some terrific receivers. Anthony Rivera, one of the top, I'd say 2 or 3 receivers in the city. They just haven't been able to get him the football this year. But a little more of that. Again, as Adrian said, Singleton, just a freshman. He's still cooking, as they say, and they are extremely excited about what he's going to be able to turn into. And already, as a freshman, as I said, they got other coaches throughout the city and in the district talking about this kid. He's going to be a good one.
Absolutely. 19-0, Canutillo over Chapin, late fourth quarter. Let's head back out to Trooper Stadium. Boy, the Eastwood Troopers are finally putting on the points. We know that they have an offense that's capable of doing that, but wow, is their defense shutting down Montwood? Let's get an update from Steve Escajeda at Trooper Stadium. Steve.
We've got 3:30 now to go in the third quarter, and boy, yeah, the score has changed. It's now Eastwood 43. Montwood 9. When we last looked here, it was 28-3 Eastwood. Since then, on the ensuing position, Montwood Galvan back to pass. He was intercepted, his second pick of the night, by Curtis Murillo, who returned it 53 yards for a touchdown. They went for 2. The run was good to make it 36-3. Montwood answered, finally getting their first touchdown of the ball game at the 5:12 mark of the third quarter. Isaiah Claudio running it in from 3 yards out to cut the lead, if you could say that, to 36-9. And then Eastwood just scoring right now. Jake Chanowski, a 1-yard run to make it 43-9. And the story of the game tonight is Eastwood's running game. That's about all they've done in the second half. 286 yards on the night for Eastwood. How about this, guys? 5 rushing touchdowns. No passing touchdowns for Eastwood. 5 touchdowns on the ground. Evan Mijares, their great quarterback, has only thrown it to 74 yards tonight, but he's carried the ball 11 times for 155 yards and a couple of touchdowns. It's all Eastwood. It's all Eastwood on the ground. 3:24 to go in the third quarter. Eastwood 43, Montwood 9.
Woo-wee. Thank you, Steve. 43-9, Eastwood over the Montwood Rams. I think we probably saw Eastwood was capable of putting up a lot of points, but is this score surprising you?
It reminds me a lot of, remember the elimination game last year, Week 11, America's in Eastwood and evenly matched teams, and this is going to be a close game, and, pick them, who knows who's going to win, and Eastwood just annihilated them, and here we go. Maybe it's partly Montwood being a little crestfallen, losing yet another close game out of so many, I think 4 this year. And maybe it just has to do with Eastwood taking them apart. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, the Eastwood Troopers, what they did last season after they finally made the playoffs. What did they start doing in the playoffs? They ran the ball a lot more. Sam Lopez, who is the invisible man, graduated now, of course. But late in the season, including that America's game, and then into the playoffs, they went to the round of 16. Lopez was the guy. The running game is what carried Eastwood all the way to the round of 16. And, we talked about maybe it might be time to get toward that again. Maybe Julio Lopez thinking exactly the same thing. Break out the running game. Steve Escada gave us a stat in the first half. I think Eastwood had only thrown the ball like 2 or 3 times, which is insane. I saw them against El Dorado a few weeks ago, and they threw the ball 2 or 3 times after the first 2 or 3 plays. So, that's what Eastwood is normally, and that's not what they are tonight. And by the way, not mentioned is the defense. Montwood only 9 points on the board, and they have a high-powered passing game. Again, I saw the Eastwood defense against El Dorado. They're pretty darn good. They run around, and they hit you. Defensive end Ray Laguna, number 59. Really like that kid. And, I think it's a defense they can win big games with, and they're going to need it because after tonight, they're obviously done with Montwood. You can put this one in the bag. Eastwood's going to move to 5-1, but they finish with Franklin next week at Franklin, and then the finale back at Trooper Stadium, they take on Eastlake.
Absolutely. Going to be a fun end of the season. Hey, a fun game so far for the T-Birds. Coronado hosting Americus. Let's get an update from Joey Panisi as Coronado led by 10 at halftime, 28-18. Should be start of the third quarter now. Let's get an update and head out to Joey Panisi. Joey, take it away.
Yes, from Coronado High School Stadium with 6:08 left in the third quarter. The T-Birds 28, the Trailblazers 18. The Trailblazers received the kickoff, and they have controlled the ball for 6 minutes of this half. Star quarterback Mark Moore, the third, has been content to just run the ball inside the tackles, and Coronado doesn't have an answer to that. And now Coronado's just being penalized, which will move Americas down inside the 10-yard line. So we had some action before the half finished. I didn't tell you guys. Everyone was expecting the clock to wind down, but Mike Fry pulled out, I guess you'd call it a Statue of Liberty play, and it started as a Statue of Liberty, and then it continued. Americas just scores on a 12-yard run. Antina Miranda takes it in from 12 yards out. That makes the score 28-24 with the point after touchdown coming out. I'll finish my story about the Statue of Liberty next time. So back to you guys with 6 minutes left in the third quarter. T-Birds 28, Trailblazers 24 with the point after touchdown coming up.
All right, Joey, thank you so much. Here come the Trailblazers getting back into this one, and that's what they're going to do. Control the ball. This sounds like head coach Patrick Melton. Control the ball, run it, control that clock, and wear down Coronado's. Looks like he's doing that in the third quarter.
Yeah, we talked about Chapin's Anthony Rivera being one of the best receivers in the city. Well, he might not be the best Anthony because Anthony Miranda at Americas is terrific. And this is just a case of taking your best players and getting the ball in their hands however you can. Anthony Miranda, they put him in the backfield, or maybe they brought him on a jet sweep, but they hand him the ball because they couldn't pass it to him, I guess. He goes 8 yards and takes it in. Big touchdown. This is a must-win for Americas. If they drop this one to Coronado, they could kiss their playoff hopes goodbye.
Absolutely. So this turns out to be maybe the game of the night. Joey Panisi will have much more later in this show. Let's head out to Jeremy Caranco. Parkland keeps scoring. Let's head out to Jeremy Caranco for an update from Highlander Stadium as Bel Air hosting Parkland. Jeremy.
7:42 left to go in the fourth quarter, and the Parkland Matadors are dominating the Bel Air Highlanders. It is 44-7. Mercifully, Christopher Davis just caught a 45-yard touchdown pass from Nora Moreno to avoid the shutout. But Parkland making a statement here tonight, and since the last time we talked, Isaiah Beasley ran for a touchdown, and now the offensive playbook is open, as I mentioned, from him. Now 2 touchdowns more for Miguel Echeverria. He hit Ty Sheen Dawson for a 6-yard TD pass, and Ethan Ortega for a 41-yard touchdown pass. 5 turnovers on the night for Bel Air, 5 now combined for Noah Moreno, 4 interceptions, and that fumble return touchdown. Domination. Bel Air, Big Red bleeding badly tonight. So 44-7, 7:42 fourth quarter, Parkland over Bel Air.
And Bo, I don't know if you have this score, but out at Sanelli, about a minute left. 6 minutes still left in the third quarter out there, and Bowie with a 2-score lead, 25-14 up on Sanelli. Bowie undefeated in the district. Sanelli looking to get their first win.
All right, Sanelli with 2 straight touchdowns. They were down 25-0 early in this one. So 25-14, Sanelli getting back into this. Also, Canutillo added another touchdown. They're now up 26-0 in the fourth quarter over the Chapin Huskies. Let's head out to J.D. Sursley. I think the Divide Conquistadors they're still scoring here. Let's head out to J.D. Sursley for an update. J.D.
1:20 left in the third quarter. They are still scoring. You are correct, Mr. Bo Bagley. They just scored again with Matt Lopez in the 2 consecutive drives. He ran for 16 and then now just caught a 45-yard pass. So now it is Del Valle 55. But hang on, We're going to make it a game. Hanks is on the board with 7. Eric Folkendall caught a 7-yard touchdown to put Hanks finally on the board, so that's good. 1:20 left in the third quarter. Del Valle 55, Hanks 7.
55-7 Del Valle. Let's play the freshman. Okay, looking like Del Valle going to run away with this one. Thank you, JD. Let's head out to Jerry Alvarez, get an update on Jefferson hosting Andress, and it's been all Andress in this one. Jerry, take it away.
It is now 8:39 left in the fourth quarter. Andress 48, Jefferson 6. Right before coming onto the air, Elias Duncan connects with Isaiah Owens in the end zone for a 24-yard touchdown pass. They are about to kick the field goal, and it is good. Yeah, it is good. So now it is 49-6. Just before this, Malcolm Anderson, it looks like the Malcolm Anderson show is over for tonight as backup running back Isaiah Comenero, number 25, is in. Malcolm Anderson has had a big night tonight. And right before the third quarter ended, Elias Duncan also connected on a 78-yard touchdown pass with number 12, Sean Owens. Sean Owens, that's his second catch of the night. The first catch was actually a 68-yard touchdown pass. So Andress has just been all over Jefferson here tonight. Once again, with 8:39 left in the fourth quarter, it is Andress 49, Jefferson 6.
All right, Jerry, thank you so much. Boy, all Andress, Del Valle, Parkland looking really good tonight, along with those Eastwood Troopers up 43-9 over the Montwood Rams. But a close one over at Burgess Mustang Stadium. Let's head out to Coach Jaime Chavez. At last check, it was 20-10 El Paso High over Burgess. Let's get an update. Coach, take it away.
We've got 9:23 left in the fourth quarter. It is now El Paso High 27 and Burgess 16. Burgess quarterback Andrew Outledge just fired a 30-yard touchdown pass to Devin Mata, and the extra point was missed. And Rogers' numbers tonight, pretty good. He's 7 of 28, 240 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and also a 15-yard touchdown pass to Anthony Armijo. And also the scoring for El Paso High thus far, or this quarter actually, quarterback Jerry Titus, a 40-yard touchdown pass to Pablo Gonzalez. And just before that, Lorenzo Johnson for El Paso High, a 75-yard touchdown run. And he's got 11 carries, 158 yards rushing for Johnson. So we've got 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter at Mustang Stadium. It's El Paso High 27 and Burgess 16.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. 27-16, El Paso High. Boy, this would be a big win for the Tigers over the Burgess Mustangs. And we've got a final in our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Riverside Rangers over the Austin Panthers. For a final wrap-up, let's go out to the Iceman, Brandon Cohn. Brandon, take it away.
Riverside 33-13 over Austin. The Riverside Rangers moved to 8-1 on the season, 3-0 in 1-4A, and essentially wrap up the 1-4A district crown. Next, they will be Idle. Quarterback Ian Motian, 9 of 15, 165 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interception. Quarterback Angel Speedy Munoz went 3 of 4, 63 yards, 1 touchdown as well. Running back Jose Corrado, 7 carries, 74 yards, 1 touchdown. How about running back / wideout Adrian Estrada, 16 carries, 162 yards, including 2 receptions for 56 yards, 4 total touchdowns for Estrada on the evening. And also defensive back Ricky Briones, 3 interceptions for the Rangers, especially in that second half. A great defensive effort by Riverside. For Austin, they now fall to 3-5 on the year, 1-1 in District 1-4A. This place is starting to feel like home because next week they'll be here again on the 28th and play Bowie here at Beatty Cement Stadium for Austin. For quarterback Irving Cortinas, 3 of 12, 17 yards, 3 interceptions. Rough night for him. The one bright stop, though, for them, running back Jaden Wilson did have 27 carries, 145 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They're shutting the lights off. They want us to get out of here at Beatty Cement Stadium as it's a final. It's 33 Riverside to 33-13 Riverside over Austin.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much. 33-13, Riverside looking very much like the defending district champs, putting it to Austin tonight. And once again, just as Brandon said, Riverside gets a bye next week. Great chance to really heal up, but potentially 2 weeks could be without quarterback Angel Munoz leading into the playoffs for disciplinary reasons. Interesting way to end the regular season for the Riverside Rangers, don't you think?
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the heritage, for one of a better term, there's always been drama out of Riverside. You go back to the Tom Work years. If there aren't problems, they're not playing football.
Well, the Riverside Rangers surely played football tonight. Adrian Estrada, 4 touchdowns. Brandon Cohn on the call. Riverside improving to 8-1. Well, also improving is Canutillo with a big win tonight over Chapin. This one should be winding down. Let's head back out to Adrian Broadus. This one, I believe, is over. Adrian, take it away.
Thank you, guys. That's right. We've got a final. Canutillo with a big 26-0 victory over the Chapin Huskies. Now, when it comes to the Canutillo Eagles, they were led by L.J. Martin, the Stanford commit, who had 80 yards and a touchdown before he was ruled out of this game with a right foot injury. L.J. Martin, he does what he does. I just want to bring up a big stat from L.J. Martin that just really shows what kind of a player he is. We know how dominant he's been since really he's come on to the scene as a starting running back for this group as a sophomore. His freshman year, yeah, he played sparingly, but not, when he was a sophomore, he really took the load as the starting running back. Get this stat. Since L.J. Martin was a sophomore, he has rushed for 100-plus yards in 21 of 23 games played at the varsity level. He has over 5,000 career rushing yards with Canutillo. This does not count games with any injuries this year. So Canutillo this game, they had 237 rushing yards. It was a run-by-committee offense. Anthony Ayala had a rushing touchdown from 8 yards out. Rene Huerta had a rushing touchdown from 16 yards out. And then Jeremiah Knox also chipped in with a 42-yard touchdown pass to Lorenzo Ariola. He led the way in the receiving corps for Canutillo, 4 catches, 105 yards. He was probably the player of the game for Canutillo in this one, although I really liked the play that we saw from both sophomore Eduardo Carrillo. He had some nice punt returns, some nice kick returns, and then Chuy Carrillo, the linebacker, he came in with a big sack. Now, on the Chapin side of things, if you ask me in this game who is the best athlete on the field since L.J. Martin was knocked out early on or in the second half, I would have said freshman Davion Singleton. Just an unbelievable athlete. He just hasn't put it all together yet, but understandably so. He's an underclassman. And Davion Singleton finished today 7 of 19 through the air, 115 passing yards. Davion Jordan had 3 catches for 81 receiving yards. And Davion Singleton also led them on the ground, 77 rushing yards. They just couldn't punch it in when it mattered. They missed a field goal. They turned the ball over on downs and turned the ball over inside Canutillo territory. But that's going to do it for us here. I'll preview next week real quick. Chapin now falls to 3-5 on the season, 2-1 in district play. They go on the road to take on El Paso High next week, a big district matchup there. And then Canutillo improves to 6-2 on the season, 3-0 in district play. They'll be at Jefferson next week. They are definitely the front runners to take this district title. So I'll send it back to you guys in the studio. It was a big victory for the Canutillo Eagles, dominating Chapin tonight, 26-0.
All right, Adrian, thank you so much. Great job. 26-0. Canutillo over at Chapin. We'll see you at our post-game get-together at Union Draft House on Sunland Park Drive. Great place to convene and talk some high school football with the Iceman and Adrian and Joe Rodriguez and the crew. It's going to be a lot of fun and a big win for Canutillo over there. And once you get L.J. Martin healthy, Canutillo could be rolling towards the playoffs here.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think that's what they try to do. They are very careful with him, a little dinged up, a month ago, and they sat him out of a couple of games. And as I said, he came back, like a lion, especially a week ago, 282, and I think, like I said, a 98-yard touchdown run in that contest. But, stuff just happens. The thing that strikes me about Adrian's report, again, he's talking about the freshman, Davion Singleton, and I just don't remember, freshmen making an impact on city play, but it seems like we're just littered with them now. You know, there's Singleton, Ray Estrada, of course, at El Dorado, the best player for them most of the season. Of course, big brother Quincy, the quarterback, he's had a pretty nice last month. But that kid is explosive. You know, the big Pebble Hills Franklin game last night. Pebble Hills dominates, but on the defensive side for Franklin, Ernie Powers, a freshman, has a fumble recovery, has an interception. Adrian was just talking about Eduardo Carrillo, Chuy Carrillo's little brother at Cañutillo. Started last year as a freshman on defense. 5 interceptions on his season, and Adrian's absolutely right. He's a hidden gem. Punt returns, hand him the ball every once in a while, throw him an occasional pass. Always for big plays. I think he's the L.J. Martin when L.J. Martin leaves, or maybe Davion Singleton at Chapin is. But I just can't remember so much freshman talent making an impact so early. Remember Deion Hankins played the second half of his freshman year, ran for about 300 yards. And, you know, that guy turned out to be, you know, the top rusher the city of El Paso's ever had. So kind of like a lamb. These guys are coming in like lions.
Absolutely. And there you go. Canutillo up 26-0. Win it 26-0. Let's head out to Trooper Stadium. Join Steve Escajeda for an update. As we go to a 6A update, Eastwood hosting Montwood. Steve, take it away. Oh, okay, though. We're going to get to Steve and Joey Panisi in just a little bit. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. All right. We have some final scores all around the borderland in our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Riverside tops Austin 33-13. Canutillo defeats Chapin 26-0. These are final scores. Mountain View falls to Fort Stockton 62-21 the final. Monahans Oliver Fabens 61-0. And this just final the sack. El Dorado defeats Socorro 50-0.
And Andrews Jefferson just went final as well. Jerry Alvarez tells us Andrews takes that one 49-6.
Ooh, 49-6, a final big win for the Andrus Eagles. Their second in a row. Let's head out to Joey Panisi. Our game of the night, it turns out to be the best game, is Coronado hosting Americus. This is a fun one at Quarles Brooks Thunderbird Stadium. Let's head out to Joey. Joey, take it away.
Yes, from Coronado High School Stadium, just into the fourth quarter, 11 minutes left to play. Coronado hangs on to a 28-25 lead over the Trailblazers. The third quarter was just basically dominated by Americas. They solved the riddle of Owen Levesque, and they've been hurrying him on every possession. Coronado needs to make some adjustments because they haven't been able to do anything on offense. They're challenging him to run inside, and it's just not working. Quarterback from Americas, Mark Moore, got rattled. They had a nice little drive going, and he took a hard hit, and his replacement quarterback came in for a couple of plays, did well, and then they brought Moore back in, and he fumbled on the first play. Coronado recovered and wasn't able to do anything with it. So right now, Americas is taken over on their 18-yard line with 11 minutes left to go, and the score is the Coronado T-Birds 28 and the Trailblazers 25.
All right, Joey, thank you so much. Wow, what a game there at T-Bird Stadium. Coronado hanging on to the lead right there. It's going to be a fun one. Let's head out to Eastwood's Trooper Stadium and join Steve Escajeda for an update on Montwood at Eastwood.
We've got 5:22 left to go in the ball game. Eastwood still leading Montwood 43-17. Big man tonight for Eastwood, the quarterback Evan Mijares Not for his arm. He only has 87 yards passing on a couple of picks. But for his legs, 170 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Eastwood now up to 326 yards rushing as opposed to only 87 yards passing. And I heard Paul mention it earlier. The big defensive end for Eastwood, Robert Legarda, on the night, 1 sack, 2 other tackles for losses, and also a forced fumble. So again, he's making his presence known tonight for that big Eastwood defense. 5:22 to go in the ballgame. Eastwood 43, Montwood 17.
Steve, thank you so much. What a game there. Eastwood really pulling away from that one. Hey, we have some finals around the borderland. Anthony falls to Sonora 48-6. And in the land of enchantment, boy, tough night for Las Cruces High School football teams. Yeah. Las Cruces High falls to Carlsbad. This is a final, 21-7. Mayfield falls to Roswell, 49-14 the final. Gadsden falls to Santa Teresa, or I should say Gadsden defeats Santa Teresa 21-8, but Hobbs tops Organ Mountain 48-6 the final. Hey, let's head now out to Jaime Chavez. We have a fun one at Burgess Mustang Stadium. Let's go out to Jaime Chavez with the update. Coach.
We've got 2:30 left in the fourth quarter. It is still El Paso High 27 and Burgess 16. And Burgess is threatening. They have a 3rd and goal at the 6-yard line. 2 consecutive incomplete passes by quarterback Andy Routledge, who has got tremendous numbers tonight, 19 of 31 and 324 yards passing, and a pair of touchdown passes to Devin Mata and Anthony Armijo. And here's the rollout on the he dropped the pass. He's rolling out on the 3rd and goal at the 6, and it looks like his leading receiver dropped the pass. Anthony Armijo dropped that pass, and now here's a crucial call right here. Here's a 4th and goal at the 6-yard line for the Burgess Mustangs, and 3 consecutive incomplete passes. We've got 2:24 left in the fourth quarter, as with Routledge in the pistol formation as he barks out the signals, and the clock has stopped momentarily. With the 4th and goal at the 6, Routledge is going back to pass. He's looking for his right. He's going to be sacked. He's sacked. Routledge is sacked at the 12-yard line. A big rush by Cyrus Mejia, the outside linebacker coming in, and that could dash Burgess's hopes. With Burgess getting great field position, but they've failed to capitalize on this series, and they've got 1 timeout left while El Paso High has 2 timeouts left. El Paso High will take over on their own 12. And we've got 2:20 left in the fourth quarter, and El Paso High 27 and Burgess 16.
Still 27-16. Coach, thank you so much. What a game there at Burgess Mustang Stadium, and a huge defensive stop by El Paso High. A big sack right there, as this one coming down to the wire. So we'll head back out to Coach in just a little bit. Let's get out to District 5A. Boy, there's a couple blowouts here. Let's start with Jeremy Caranco and the blowout at Bel Air Highlander Stadium hosting Parkland. Jeremy.
We have just reached the final buzzer at Highlander Stadium, and it's a disappointing Highlander Stadium as the Bel Air Highlanders are handed their first loss of the season by the Parkland Matadors. The final score tonight was 44-21. Some feel-good moments at the end for Bel Air. They actually outscored Parkland by 21 points unanswered to end the game, but a little too late. Noah Moreno on the night for the Bel Air Highlanders, 15 out of 26, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns late. He hits Adam Silva and his favorite target, Christopher Davis, for a 45-yard touchdown. Davis did reach 99 yards, so he is about 41 yards short of the 1,000-yard mark on the year. And for the victorious Parkland Matadors, completely domination through 3 quarters, put the game away then. It DJ Crest for the 77-yard punt return touchdown that took the air out of the stadium, a packed Highlander Stadium early. Ethan Ortega, a 9-yard touchdown pass from Miguel Echeverria. Adrian Loya with a field goal. Jamal Bamba, 10-yard fumble return touchdown. Beasley scored a 1-yard score on the night. Beasley, 244 yards and 28 rushes. There were no big plays from Beasley other than a 62-yard. He controlled the game and controlled the clock. Parkland held the ball for about 75% of the game. And Ethan Ortega with 2 touchdowns, 58 yards for DJ Crest receiving. Parkland 5-3, 2-1, and Bel Air falling to 7-1 and 2-1 on the night. It's a final here at Highlander Stadium. Parkland beats Bel Air in District 15A action 44-21.
All right, Jeremy, thank you so much. 44-21, the final. Parkland over Bel Air, but Bel Air some respite for the Highlanders. They play at Horizon next week, so hopefully get back on track there.
Yeah, funny you should say that. Speaking of Horizon, assuming they were done 0-7 coming into this contest, just lost 48-40 to Hanks a couple of weeks ago. So, maybe they smelled a modicum of success. I don't know. But making another late run in this one out at Hutchins Stadium. Esleda still ahead. 7:54 left in the contest, though. Now a one-score game. Esleda up 35-27. Horizon, as I said, 0-7 coming into the contest, trying to find a way to get their first W of the season.
Wow, and Isleta led that game 35-0. So now 35-27 is led over Horizon late in the fourth quarter.
Rolling.
There you go. Absolutely. Hey, let's head out to, speaking of rolling, the Delvi Conquistadors rolling at Conquest Stadium tonight. Let's head out to J.D. Sursley for an update on Delvi and Hanks. J.D.
All right, gentlemen, the massacre is finally over. It is now 63-7, the final. The third-string quarterback came in, Aiden Carr, and he said, hey, I want some of that good old pie, too. And he threw a beautiful 37-yard pass to Cesar Velasquez to end the night, 63-7, the final. Del Valle over Hanks. Damian Diaz, probably the MVP of the game. He's the second-string backup to Jesse Ramos for Del Valle, but, pretty much 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. He was pretty on fire.
All right, JD, thank you so much. We'll see you, Jeremy, over at Union Draft House on Sunland Park, our post-game get-together. 63-7, the final. Delvi all over Hanks. This wasn't even close. Hey, and Andrus defeated Jefferson 49-6. We gave you that final score. Let's head out for the wrap-up with Jerry Alvarez from Silver Fox Stadium. Jerry.
It is all over here at Silver Fox Stadium. Andrus defeats the Jefferson Silver Foxes 49-6. It was the Malcolm Anderson show all night. He had 12 carries for 158 yards, 2 TDs, and a blocked field goal. And a thing of note is that he stopped playing in the fourth quarter. He did not see a single down in the fourth quarter. At that point, they put in the backup running back. So he only played 3 quarters and put up these numbers. Number 6, Elias Duncan, QB, went 7 for 14, 209 yards, 4 carries for 54 rushing yards, threw 3 TDs on the night. 2 of those TDs were to number 12, Sean Owens. He had 2 receptions on the night for 140 yards. Both those receptions were 2 touchdown passes, 1 for 68 yards and 1 for 78 yards. Jefferson, their biggest producer, was number 4, Miguel Rubio, had 24 carries for 106 yards. And that was about it for Jefferson. Andrus just all over Jefferson tonight. Andrus moves on to 2-1 in district, 3-5 overall. Jefferson 0-3 in district, 3-5 overall. Andrus hosts Burgess next week, while Jeff hosts Ganotillo here at Silver Fox Stadium. Once again, that's a final of Andrus 49, Jefferson 6.
All right, Jerry, thank you so much. Great job tonight over at Silver Fox Stadium. Andrus 49-6 over Jefferson. Jerry, we'll see you over at our post-game get-together at Union Draft House on Sunland Park Drive. We're convened to talk some high school football. It's a locally owned draft house with 100 beers on tap and great food. A great place to catch the big game. Union Draft House on Sunland Park. Hey, speaking of a big game, a huge game over at Coronado. Here come the Americas Trailblazers. Let's head out to Joey Panisi for a surprising update in this one from Americas and Coronado. Joey.
Yes, the tide has turned with 8:03 left to play in the fourth quarter here at Coronado High School. The score is now the Trailblazers 32, the T-Birds 28. Mark Moore must have gotten woken up from that hard hit because he took charge of that last drive and marched the Trailblazers 60 yards down the field. The two highlights, we completed two nice third and long plays to Anthony Miranda, and then he threw a 40-yard BB. Well, actually, it was 37-yard touchdown strike to Abdiel Rincon, and he was covered perfectly, but the ball was right over his shoulder. It was a major league play. So Coronado just received the kickoff. They're returning it up to the 50-yard line, and they're tackled. So they'll take over from the 50 with 7 minutes and 55 seconds left in the ball game. The score is now the Trailblazers 32, the T-Birds 28.
Oh, this is going to be a fun one, Paul. 32-28. Remember, T-Birds led this 28-18 in the third quarter. So here it comes. Two unanswered touchdowns, 14 straight points by the Blazers over the T-Birds to take the lead.
And through the air. I mean, that's to be of note because America's is, I've seen them a few times. They just want to grind. And the guy they want to use to grind is the quarterback, Mark Moore. Remember, first game of the season, Midland Christian, he gets knocked out with a concussion. So they sit him a couple of weeks. And I saw the game where he came back. I think it was week 3. First 2 or 3 plays, you think concussion, want to be careful. He just slams into line. And he looks for guys and just blows them up. And that's when I said, okay, this guy is fine. But more a physical guy, and that's how they want to move the football. Again, I said 6 touchdowns a week ago in the El Dorado win, 49-42. But tonight, a little bit through the air. And, the receiver who's probably been begging for the ball all season long, Anthony Miranda, hey, I can make some plays. Give me the ball. And, they've given him the ball through the air and even handed it to him for a touchdown tonight.
Absolutely. Getting it done. This is going to be a fun one. We're going to take a break. We'll have much more from T-Bird Stadium, Americus, and Coronado going down to the wire. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Oh, what a night it is. Football Friday night, week 9 of the high school football season, and our 915 Tours game of the week. Riverside tops Austin 33-13. Other 4A action, Fort Stockton defeated Mountain View 62-21, and Monahans shuts out Fabens 61-0. In 5A, Canutillo all over Chapin 26-0. Parkland over Bel Air 44-21. These are finals. Del Valle over Hanks 63-7. Andress all over Jefferson. It was the Malcolm Anderson show. Andress winning it 49-6. And we got another fun one right now. We want to give you a score update between Horizon and Isleta. We had our score wrong previously. Currently, Isleta leads Horizon 41-17. This in the fourth quarter. Once again, Isleta leads Horizon 41-17. Last check, Bowie over San Elizario in the fourth quarter, 25-14. Let's go to 6A, El Dorado all over Socorro, 50-0 the final. Elsewhere, Eastwood was last up 43-9, and Americus has taken up a lead over Coronado in the fourth quarter, 32-28. We'll head out to those games in just a moment. First, this one should be final at Mustang Stadium. Let's head out to the coach, Jaime Chavez, with a final from El Paso High and Burgess. Coach.
The final here tonight at Mustang Stadium, El Paso High 27 and Burgess 16. And in the process, El Paso High clinches a playoff spot in the 1-5A Division II ranks. Quarterback Jerry Chidas of the Tigers, El Paso High Tigers. He fired 2 touchdown passes, a 40-yarder to Pablo Gonzalez and a 33-yard touchdown pass to Edgar Garcia. Chidas also had a 14-yard touchdown run. Lorenzo Johnson, coming back after a month off from a wrist injury, He had a 75-yard touchdown run, 11 carries, and 158 yards rushing, 158 yards rushing for Johnson. Chidas was 9 of 12, 144 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. And also the El Paso High Tigers, they were also on defense. They were strong. They had 4 sacks tonight on Burgess quarterback Andrew Routledge. Routledge had 2 touchdown passes, a 30-yard touchdown pass to Devin Mata, and a 15-yard touchdown pass to Anthony Armijo. And Danny Guillen for Burgess kicked a 58-yard field goal. Routledge, big numbers tonight, 19 of 31, 324 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Anthony Armijo, his leading receiver, 5 receptions and 70 yards, and also that touchdown catch. And Routledge had 6 carries and 32 yards rushing for Burgess. El Paso High, they're 5-3 on the season overall, and 2-1, and will make that 3-0 in district. Correction, 2-1 in district, and they're going to host Chapin next week. Burgess falls to 2-6, 0-3. In district, and they're at Andress next week. The final once again from Mustang Stadium. El Paso High 27, Burgess 16.
All right, Coach Jaime Chavez, thank you so much. 27-16 El Paso High over Burgess. Coach, we'll see you over at our post-game get-together, Union Draft House at Sunland Park. We have another final down from Pecos. Pecos defeats Clint 33-7. That's the final. Clint falls to 1-2 in district, while Pecos improves to 2-1.
Yeah, that's disappointing. They should have done better with Pecos, a team that Fabens should have beaten, almost did, 16-14 losers. One other score from out at San Eli, the Bowie Bears looking to stay undefeated, and looks like they will. 4:54 left in that one. Bowie leads San Eli 31-14. They'll move to 2-0 in the district.
All right. Looks like Bowie going to win that one. Hey, let's head back out to 6A. We got Steve Escajeda at Montwood and Eastwood. We have Joey Panisi at Americus and Coronado. These ones going down to the wire. Let's find out who's next. I think it's Joey. Let's go out to Joey Panisi at Coronado's Thunderbird Stadium for an update on Americus and Coronado.
You got here 2 minutes late. Oh, my goodness, what a game with 3:32 left in the fourth quarter. Coronado scores to take the lead 34-32, are waiting for the point after touchdown. But you talk about clutch play from the 40-yard line. It was Omer Levesque scrambled to the left 3 yards. Omer Levesque scrambled to the right 3 yards. Omer Levesque, quarterback draw, short a yard. They go for it from 4th down from the 22-yard line. And I got to give Thomas Murray takes the inside handoff and runs it down to the 8-yard line. Coronado sputters again. They get it down to the 2-yard line right before you call me. That's why I can't catch my breath. It's 4th and 2, inside handoff again, and Thomas Murray burrows his way into the end zone. Point after touchdown is good. Coronado's up 35-32 over the Trailblazers. 3:32 left to go in the game.
Wow, Joey, what a game. Okay, catch your breath. We'll come back to you in about 20 seconds. No, we're kidding. Catch your breath. We'll get back to you in just a few minutes. 35-32. Coronado retakes the lead. 4th down conversions. Levesque coming up big at quarterback. This time a handoff. A big offensive play right now from the Coronado T-Birds.
Without a doubt, but I think America's is a team that's desperate. Let's see what they got at the tag end of this. See if they can drive the field the way Pebble Hills did last week to Montwood. America's sitting at 3-3 in the district. Remember, Eastwood wins tonight. They moved to 5-1. Franklin lost last night. They're 4-2. America's has lost to all the teams ahead of them. Eastwood, Eastlake, Franklin, Pebble Hills, your likely playoff contenders in District 1-6A. America's lost to all of them. So, as I said, this is a must-win. They got to move to 4-3, stay a game back of Franklin, and hopefully, Franklin does have Eastwood on the schedule still. Well, they got to hope they drop a couple. I think Franklin finishes with El Dorado, so they need Franklin to lose too, and they need to just keep on winning.
And less than 4 minutes remain in this game. 35-32, Coronado over Americus. We'll go back to Joey Panisi in just a little bit. First, let's head back out to Trooper Stadium and join Steve Escajeda as this one's winding down between Eastwood and Montwood, and it's been all Troopers at Trooper Stadium. Steve, take it away.
It's all over here, and you're right. It was all Eastwood. The Troopers all over Montwood, 43-17. This game was a nip and tuck in that first quarter, but then Eastwood went on to break things open in the second and third quarter and never looked back. Eastwood with the victory. They 5-1, like Paul said, 6-2 overall on the season. With the loss, Montwood falls to 2-4 in league play and 2-6 overall. For Montwood, they were led by their quarterback Isaac Galvan. Finished 25 for 43 through the air, 240 yards, 1 touchdown pass, and 2 interceptions. His favorite target, Diego Oaxaca, 10 catches, 79 yards, and 1 touchdown. For the Eastwood Troopers, they were led by their quarterback, Evan Mijares. He was only 8 out of 16 through the air, 91 yards, 2 picks. But carrying the ball, 14 carries, 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns. In fact, let's see, Jake Chanowski also had a big game. He rushed for 91 yards and another score. Oh, and by the way, Max Macia, 65 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mijares' favorite target was Curtis Murillo, 6 catches, 74 yards. Oh, and also a 53-yard interception return for a touchdown. The big stat of the night, Eastwood, only 91 passing yards, 357 yards on the ground, and a grand total of 5 touchdowns on the ground for Eastwood tonight. It was all Troopers doing it the tough way on the ground. And one more thing, final stats on Robert Legarda, their big defensive end. He finished the ball game with 2 sacks, 4 tackles for losses, and 2 forced fumbles. What a game tonight for the big defensive end. It's all over here at Eastwood. Final score of the Troopers all over Montwood, 43-17.
So Lagarde's had 5 sacks over the last 2 weeks, a 3-sack game a week ago against Socorro. And, Bo, what just happened is the Eastwood Troopers just threw Montwood a major league curveball. Yeah, I talk about this a lot. There's no data on it, I don't think. But I think teams that do things well, like you have an Eastwood Trooper team that really throws the ball well, I think the defensive backfield, when you're on that team, unless you just want to get whooped every day in practice, you raise your level. It's like the Bible talks about, iron sharpening iron. I think when you're looking at that Eastwood Trooper passing offense weekly, your defensive backfield gets pretty darn good. By the same token, Montwood can really throw the ball. Their defensive backfield, and you've seen it, they took Bo Sparks out of the game in that Franklin win. 1 catch going into the last drive all night. Nobody had done anything to Sparks all season long, but they had their way with him. Same thing, I think the Montwood defensive backfield is better than excellent because they're going up against that Montwood passing attack in practice every week as well. So Eastwood's going to take their passing attack against a very good defensive backfield, good pass defense. No, instead they said, we're going to run the football. Who would have ever thought that? I don't think that's ever been the game plan. Well, I said last year, once they got to By District in the area round, that is the rabbit that Eastwood pulled out of their hat. Well, they did it, a few weeks earlier this year, and I think Montwood never saw it coming. They ground them up with the running attack, and of course, Montwood attacked Eastwood with their passing attack. That Eastwood defensive backfield, in fact, that defense in general, they run and they hit. They're pretty darn good. Limited Galvan to a little over 200 yards. That's nothing for that guy. He's got a couple of 400-yard games this season and a couple of 300-yard games. That's an explosive offense. So, number one, the Eastwood defense was able to limit him, and that shows what they're about. But I think also Julio Lopez, if there's a Coach of the Week award, he probably gets that because he really out-schemed Montwood this week.
Very much so, and I'm calling it right now. Eastwood Franklin, our game of the week next week. That's a huge game in 6A. Hey, we're going to take a break and head back out to 6A in Thunderbird Stadium. Join Joey Panisi. We'll be right back on Football Friday Night. Welcome back to Football Friday Night, an exciting one at Coronado's T-Bird Stadium. 35-32 with less than 4 minutes to go. Coronado leads Americus. Let's head back out to Joey Panisi with an update. Joey.
Well, to put it mildly, it's chaotic out here from Coronado Stadium with 2:19 left in the fourth quarter. the T-Birds are hanging on to a 35-32 score over the America's Trailblazers. Coronado had backed them up to their own 10-yard line. It was 3rd and 20 when Mark Moore III scrambled for the first time and connected on a 25-yard pass to his favorite receiver, Anthony Miranda. Now the flags have been flying. America's got it inside the Coronado 25, but there was 2 consecutive penalties that have now backed the ball up on America's back into their own territory. We haven't been able to pick up the fact the referee is still walking. So from the 25-yard line of Coronado, with only one play in between, let's see if I can get the call. Unsportsmanlike against America's. And now America's is at their own 34-yard line with 2 minutes and 19 seconds left to play. Coronado's done a really good job of hurrying Mark Moore. He likes to step back, and like Paul said earlier, he'll run it down your throat right up the middle, and he likes to stay in the pocket. But Coronado's been running him out. He fires wide to the outside to Anthony Miranda, and the pass is incomplete. So 2 seconds come off the clock. We got 2:15 left. Coronado's hanging on, clinging to a 35-32-point lead. Coming into this game, like I said earlier, we knew it was going to be a battle of conflicting style of quarterbacks. Owen Levesque is your wiry, nervous energy quarterback that likes to run around the end. Levesque is the opposite, runs right up the middle, Moore runs right down your throat. Okay, we're underway, 2nd down. Mark Moore is back. He rolls to his left. Hurried. Oh, my gosh. The ball is almost picked off at the line of scrimmage. 2 minutes and 7 seconds left. Coronado up 35-32. It's 3rd down, and let me see if I can count the yards. 3rd, 10, 20, 3rd and 34 for America. They're on their own 30-yard line. Let's see what Mark Moore and Patrick Melton, America's coach, can come up with. The T-Bird faithful are enlivened like I haven't seen them in many, many moons. Okay, we're underway. Mark Moore is back. He's got his setback in Brian Promes. Now he's dropping straight back. He's being hurried. He scrambles to the right, picks up 20. How many yards did he get there? He picked up 25 yards on a scramble to the right. They could not contain him. So now we're looking at a 4th down. Let me see where they mark it. 4th down and 6 yards. 6 yards with 1 minute and 58 seconds left in this ball game.
And Joey, this is Bo. They have to be around the 15-yard line, 20-yard line?
No, actually, they're on the 45-yard line.
Oh, okay.
They need 6 yards. Yeah, they kept getting pushed back, Bo. So here we are, 4th down. Everybody screaming. Mark Moore's back. He rolls to his left. He looks for his main receiver. It's going to be close. He's stacked up. 1st down, Americas.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh. There was a stack up. Anthony Miranda got his feet up underneath him and was able to topple over and get the 1st down. So now we're at the 34-yard line of Montwood. 1 minute and 51 seconds left, and Americas gets a full slate of downs.
Okay, it's Americas. Okay, let's set the table right here. Coronado leads Americas 35-32, about a minute remaining, right. And Americas is on, you said, the 30-yard line.
They're on the 34-yard line. First down, and it's 35 for Coronado, 32 for the Trailblazers, 1:51 left to play. Mark Moore is back in the shotgun. Play is about to start. He takes the ball straight up the middle, and he's snuffed right at the line of scrimmage. Clock is running. 1 yard gain on the play. 2nd down and 9 from the 33-yard line. Clock is still running. 1:22. Okay, Moore back in the shotgun again. He does it again. He keeps the ball. He's going to get first down yardage, and he runs it down inside to the 25-yard line. Okay, yes. Mark Moore, star quarterback, runs it down now to the 22-yard line. First down, Americas, 1 minute and 10 seconds left in the ball game.
Okay, plenty of time here for the Americas.
Yes.
Do you know, is their scoreboard updated, how many timeouts Americas might have?
Let's see. It says Trailblazers have 2 timeouts left. He passes deep to the end zone. Incomplete. Broken up by Ryan Randag. Blake Rondag in the end zone. It was a jump ball, and Rondag got up a little bit higher and slapped it down.
All right, Joey.
So now we're at 51 seconds.
It looks like Patrick Melton is going for everything there. Even though about a minute left, 2 timeouts, going for the win right there, going to the end zone.
Right. We got 2nd and 10. Still not calling a timeout, but though the clock is stopped on the incomplete pass, Mark Moore, the third, is in the shotgun position. No running backs beside him. He takes it right up the middle, quarterback draw, and he's tackled, but he falls forward for a 5-yard gain. He runs it down to the 15-yard line. Timeout, Patrick Melton and the Americas Trailblazers. All right, we're at 44 seconds left. Coronado's leading 35-32. Timeout, Americas. Ball is spotted on the 18-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 4 from the 18-yard line. Mark mentioned earlier how this Mark Moore will just run it over you and suffered a concussion, and you can understand why. He reminds me a lot of Bo Jackson, who never, ever took an angle. He would just run the ball over you before he'd run on a slant. His passing, let me tell you what he's done. He's thrown 17 passes unofficially and completed 10, and he's up to 170 yards. That's 130. That's over 137 he was averaging per game. He was averaging 139 per game. He had 978 yards coming in, so this will definitely put him over 1,000. Okay, we're ready to roll. His tailback, Brian Promes, is behind him, but he's in the shotgun. So Mark Moore back. Promes rolls, throws the ball to Promes, and Promes is run out of bounds for a 1-yard gain. Good defense by the T-Birds.
4th and 4.
So now we got 4th down. Guts football time, 4th and 6. Field goal units coming in. Oh, my goodness. Patrick Melton is sending in the field goal unit with 44 seconds. Well, now it's 39 seconds. So, guys, this looks like it's going to be kicked from the 25-yard line. It'll be a 35-yard attempt. And the field goal kicker, let me get you his name, is Emiliano Arredondo. Biggest kick of his career. And Coronado calls timeout to freeze the kicker. So Emiliano's coming over, and as you men have mentioned earlier, this is do or die for Americas from my understanding. So
absolutely, Joey, let's set the stage. It's 35-32. Coronado leads Americas. You said 34 seconds left?
39 seconds left.
39 seconds left.
The ball is spotted on the 19-yard line, so the placement for the field goal will be on the 25-yard line. Excuse me, the kicker is Angel Sanchez, number change. Angel Sanchez, the biggest kick of his young career. Sanchez is a sophomore. You'll remember this. The kick is up. And it's good.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. It skimmed over the crossbar. I kid you not. It skimmed over the crossbar and toppled on to the other side. So now we're looking at high score. 34 seconds left in the ball game, and we have a player down on the field.
Well, certainly we
We've
hope
had just
that
about everything.
we certainly hope that player is okay. But what a game here
Wow.
we have between Americus and Coronado. 34 seconds left, tied at 35. America's sophomore Angel Sanchez comes in to nail a 36-yard field goal. I mean, let's see now. Coronado, this has been some Coronado magic. It is homecoming out there at Jack Quarles Donbrooks Thunderbird Stadium. Let's see if they can get some homecoming magic between the Coronado T-Birds out there.
Yeah. Yeah, so both teams are trying to catch their breath. The fans are all limp as dish rags.
Okay.
Waiting to see what's going to take place in these last 34 seconds.
You got it, Joey. Let's you catch your breath. We do have a final out at San Elizario. The Bowie Bears have defeated San Eli 31-14, so Bowie improves to 2-0 in district, 4-4 overall. Elsewhere in 6A, just want to remind you, as we go back to the Coronado Americas game in just a moment, El Dorado defeated Socorro 50-0. Montwood fell to Eastwood. Boy, Eastwood's offense looked great tonight. 43-17, the Troopers over the Rams. And right now, Americus and Coronado tied at 35. 34 seconds left. Americus just kicked a 36-yard field goal by sophomore Angel Sanchez to tie it up. They'll be kicking off to Coronado with 34 seconds left. We'll see what Coronado can do. Joey, let's send it back to you.
Okay. Well, the players are taking the field. Place kicker, is it the same place kicker? I have a spotter here working with me tonight. Looks like it is. The new kick. Oh, it's Emilio Arredondo. He's the regular kicker, but they brought in the sophomore to kick the clutch field goal. Angel Sanchez. Well, now we have Emilio Arredondo kicking off to the T-Birds. 34 seconds left to play. Teams are ready. Ball's in play. Short kick. Coronado running, and he's tackled at the 32-yard line. So Coronado will take over at the 32-yard line with 29 seconds left. Let's see what Mike Pry, first-year coach Mike Pry, can come up with. I think I can mention that I work here at Coronado, and I check on this team every day, and these coaches are so upbeat, trying to get this program rolling in the right direction, and I've never heard, difficult as the season has been, not a negative word from the boys or the coaches. Everything's upbeat, speedy, hustle here, hustle there. It sure would be nice as a former T-Bird to see this program get back on track. All right, so Levesque is in the shotgun position. He's got Randag out right and Matt Grajeda tight end. Man in motion. Snap goes back. Oh, my gosh. Pass is picked off. Give me a number there. I believe it's 32. Americus picks off the pass. Number 4, Alexander Ortiz picks off the pass. Let me give you the exact yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, Americas from the 32-yard line of Coronado. It
Wow.
was a quick pass in the flat. Both guys went up, kind of bobbled, and then the America's boy pulled it right out of his hands and fell right to the ground. So Mark Moore III is back in charge. He's got his big line in front of him. We're at the 32-yard line. He's got Brian Promes to his right. He drops straight back this time, looking deep. Throws the pass, complete to Promes. Down and pushed out of bounds at the 5-yard line.
Out of bounds.
Wow, here you
Mark
go.
Moore, the third 20-yard pass complete to Brian Promes down to the 5-yard line. Goodness.
Joey, how much
We've
time
got
left?
17 seconds left.
And I believe Americus has
And-
one timeout left.
No timeouts left. I'm
No
looking right
timeouts.
now. Yes.
And a sophomore
Coronado has
kicker
one.
fresh off a 35-yard tying field goal.
It looks like they're going to run the play. Yeah, Mark Morris got his running back, Brian Promessa's left side. Now he's rolling left, and he cuts it up himself, throws it into the end zone, out of the back of the end zone. He tosses it over the head of his receiver beyond the end zone. 12 seconds left on the clock, and we're still second down from the 7-yard line.
Joey, you scared me. You scared me when you said he cut it up because you can't run the ball here. You got 3 cracks at the end zone, then you got a little chip shot field goal from an extreme angle from a guy who just knocked in a 35-yarder to tie. Yeah. You cannot run the football. You cannot take a sack.
I feel you. He he thought about it. He planned and said, okay, now we got a full house backfield. Okay, now he's rolling to the right, rolling to the right, rolling to the right, rolling to the end zone, and he runs it out of bounds at about the 5. 6 seconds left on the clock.
This is field goal time. You got to believe Americus would bring on the kicker here.
Clock. All right, give me an eye, my spotter. Eric Ronhell is my spotter. He's the orchestra director at El Paso High School, and he also runs the drum corps here at Coronado. So he's come to help the old man out with numbers and stuff. Thank you, Eric. He also is my son-in-law, so I have some power over him.
Well, good.
We
Put
have
him
a
to
down
work.
Player. Yes, he's helping me big time. We have a down player, white jersey. We hope he's okay. Both teams are on the sidelines. I know what Mike's thinking. Let's freeze that leg of that Angel Sanchez. Thing about it is I don't remember what NFL game I saw that was lost in the last second by a field goal. It was a wobbling knuckleball, and it went through the goalposts. I forget what game it was. It was like the last play of the game. Well, that's what this one reminded me of. This one was like semi-blocked, and it squirted over the end zone.
Well, just like last weekend, it was Tennessee over Alabama. 52-49. Tennessee was partially blocked and barely made it over the crossbar.
That's what this one. And the funny thing is you could have heard a pin drop in the split seconds that thing was in flight. The refs did a good job of making us all sweat. You know, they hesitated before they lifted their arms.
Absolutely. Let's one more time set the stage. 6 seconds left. Americus has the ball, the Coronado 5-yard line. 3rd down.
Yes. 3rd down and goal. What's the exact yard line?
And tied at 35.
6-yard line. 6-yard line. 6 seconds left. Tie score. 3rd down. No timeouts for Americas. And is this the same kid, Angel? Is this 48? Angel Sanchez. Yes, sophomore, 5'10", 160. Angel Sanchez from the right hash mark. Ball is snapped. Kick is up. No, it was good. Angel Sanchez, the unsung hero of the Americas Trailblazers. And as you can imagine, there's jubilation on the Americas sidelines, and there's sadness, to put it mildly, on the Coronado sideline.
All right, Joey. So that no was a Coronado homer right there. But Americas kicked the field goal. It's good. Americas wins 38-35.
Few seconds on it. 6 seconds. Probably a couple of seconds left.
There's 4 seconds left.
A 2-second kick. Wow, that Angel Sanchez is good. Or the officials are a little slow on the gun.
Oh, my goodness. Do you want to wrap here in a few minutes? You want me to put some stats together?
Yeah.
When we hang up?
Yes, absolutely. We'll get back.
Pretty much.
Don't hang up. We'll get back to you in 1 minute. Throw some stats together, and we'll get back to you in 1 minute. As Paul and I here talk about Coronado and Americas. Thank you, Joey. We'll get back to you in just 1 minute.
Okay.
Looks like Americas is going to win this one, 38-35. Remember, Coronado led this game by 10 in the third quarter, back and forth in the fourth quarter. Thought they had it, 35-32. A crucial interception, 30 seconds to go. Coronado tied at 35, trying to drive for a potential game-winning field goal, but first pass is picked off, and there you go. That's a really tough way to end homecoming for Mike Pry's first year.
But what a way to introduce yourself to Football Friday Night. Hey, everybody, my name's Angel Sanchez, and I'm a sophomore kicker for the America's Trailblazers. We don't do a lot of kicking around here, but this one's kind of important. Our playoff hopes, we don't have great playoff hopes in the first place because nobody else above us loses, except for Franklin last night. They have 2 losses. We have 3 coming in. If we lose this one, we're sunk. And all our hopes are on the leg of the 16-year-old, 15-year-old. Angel Sanchez.
I mean, what a game. A 36-yarder to tie the game. A 22-yard game-winning field goal in hostile territory on the road. What a job by a sophomore. Great composure by Angel Sanchez. Get 2 field goals there within 30 seconds.
Clutch.
It's big, and let's not forget Alex Ortiz coming up big with an interception for the Americas defense.
Huge.
What a win, as Americas will improve to 4-3 on the in district, 4-5 overall, and Americas gets a bye next week. What a great way to go into a bye week. You get your kids believing, you get your kids excited, healthy into a bye week, and look at the horizon of the playoffs.
And America's is going to win out. I believe they finished with Socorro. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Socorro hasn't been able to touch anybody in the district. They're not going to be able to touch America's in week 11. So they're going to finish with 3 losses. Anything can happen, but quite likely. So what they need now is for the Franklin Cougars, now 4-2 in the district after losing last night to Pebble Hills, really getting taken apart by the Spartans. They need Franklin to lose a couple more times. That's going to be a tough go as well. Eastwood, red hot, really handled Montwood tonight. They go to Franklin Cougar Stadium next week. It's possible they could lose to a good team, but Franklin finishes out easily as well. Not easily. I think they have. I think they finished with El Dorado. So El Dorado, a lower level of the division, but still competitive. The Estrada brothers, Quincy Estrada, and of course the phenomenal freshman Ray Estrada. So America's, they need other people to help them along. But at least, the very least, they did their part tonight. Down double figures, they dug and they clawed and they got back into it, and a little sophomore kicker trotted onto the field and knocked in a couple of clutch field goals, and they come away with, 38-35 victory.
38-35, Americas over Coronado. We'll go back out to Joey Panisi in just a moment. Let's get to our Oscar Arieta local scoreboard. Let's get to our 915 Tours game of the week. 33-13 Riverside over Austin. Canutillo 26-0 over Chapin. Fort Stockton defeated Mountain View 62-21. And 6A, Eastwood defeated Montwood 43-17. And as we just heard, Americas defeated Coronado 38-35. El Dorado topped Socorro 50-0. Parkland all over Bel Air 44-21. Del Valle defeated Hanks 63-7. Andress over Jefferson 49-6. El Paso High improves to 2-1 in district with a 27-16 victory over Burgess. Bowie defeats San Elizario 31-14. Horizon and Isleta defeats Horizon 44-23. In 4A, Pecos defeated Clint 33-7. Fabens falls to Monahans 61-0. Up in the land of enchantment, Carlsbad defeated Las Cruces 21-7. Roswell defeated Mayfield 49-14. Hobbs defeated Oregon Mountain 48-6, and Gadsden defeats Santa Teresa 21-8. Lastly, Anthony falls to Sonora 48-6.
And now your Longhorn Distributing out-of-town scoreboard. District 26A is as big of a mess, and I do mean at the top as 16A is. Listen to this. Odessa Permian bounces back from their only loss of the season. Legacy got them last week. Well, they took it out on Friendship 42-41. They nipped Friendship in a battle of 6-1 teams. Elsewhere, San Angelo Central undefeated in the district. Well, they went to Grande Communication Stadium, and they got the rejuvenated Legacy 56-29. That final, Midland Legacy wins, moves to 2-1. Midland and Odessa in a battle of teams that aren't going to be in the playoffs. 41-31, Midland beats Odessa. And standing wise in that district, in case you weren't paying attention, Permian moves to 2-1. Friendship falls to 2-1. San Angelo Central falls to 2-1. Midland Legacy moves to 2-1, a four-way tie atop District 2-6A. As I said, it's similar. In 1-6A, we got 3 teams with 1 loss. Franklin, one game back in the loss column with 2 losses. Here we have 4 teams with 1 loss, all tied with a couple of weeks to shake it all out. Should be interesting. Elsewhere, District 2-5A. Abilene all over Lubbock Coronado, 35-14. Thursday night game. Amarillo Tascosa in a toughie takes care of city rival Amarillo Caprock 34-28 in a good one. Tascosa moves to 4-1 in that district, 7-1 on the season. And Lubbock Cooper handles Lubbock Monterey 31-14. They move to 4-0, also 7-1. Tascosa and Cooper, that'll be the big battle. I'm sure that's in a couple of weeks. 2-5A, Abilene Wiley swamps Lubbock 43-0. Abilene Cooper takes down Plainview 31-14. Wichita Falls Rider bounces back from last week's loss 42-7 all over Amarillo Paladuro. District 2-4A, Brownwood stays undefeated 3-0 in the district, handles Estacado easily 52-14, gives them their first loss in the district. Big Spring all over Lakeview 21-7 in the Battle of the Windlass. And we go all the way down to District 2-4A, Division 2. West Plains in a shootout takes down Perryton 45-42, and Bo Bagley for the last time tonight. That is your Longhorn Distributing out-of-town scoreboard.
All right, thank you, Paul. And I'm just going to call it right now. Sophomore Angel Sanchez of Americus High School is our top athlete. Need a new spot to try? Try Taco Avocat. For feel-good fast food family packs available for the big game, dine in at 2114 North Zaragoza. Order online, tacoavocat.com. Angel Sanchez, 2 crucial field goals for the America's Trailblazers in the last 30 seconds, including the 22-yard game-winning field goal as Americas tops Coronado 38-35. Let's head back out for a final wrap-up. Let's go to Joey Panisi at Coronado's T-Bird Stadium. Joey.
Hey, guys, my head is still spinning, but we have that final. I look at the scoreboard. What an amazing game. Final score, America's 38, Coronado Thunderbirds 35. And I know you guys are praising Angel Sanchez up and down, but we forgot to mention that he kicked the first field goal of the game. When Americas took over first series of the game, they ran a razzle-dazzle play, and Blake Rondag ran down what's that boy's name? I don't want to say Levesque. Brian Promes threw a 65-yard touchdown, and Randak tackled him at the 5-yard line. Well, they couldn't score, so they bring Angel in, and he kicks a 21-yard field goal to give him the first score of the game. So he actually had 9 points, 3 touchdowns, all over 20 yards in the game. So let's give him a little extra kudos. We said it was going to be a quarterback matchup. Well, both quarterbacks lived up to their billing. They came into the game accounting for 11 touchdowns each, and they leave this game now accounting for 14 touchdowns each. Combined passes and yards, Levesque is up to 1,560. He did cross the 1,000-yard mark in his passing tonight, and he's also up to 600 in his rushing. I've got the stats over here on Mark Moore, the third. We can't forget the third. He's up to 14 touchdowns, 7 passing, and 6 rushing. And he's over the 1,000 yards in the rushing department for a total combined rushing and passing 1,765. So Moore finishes the night. 15 rushes, 72 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 1-yard sneak, and a 14-yard quarterback draw. Brian Pomes, 9 carries, 94 yards total, and a 55-yard bomb. Angel Gonzalez, the star kicker, 21-yard guard field goal, 27-yard and 22-yard field goal. Levesque, amazing. the scrambling quarterback, 13 rushes, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 41-yarder and a 33-yarder. He was 4 for 10 passing for 55 yards, and he connected on a 25-yard touchdown to David Alberca. The highlight of the night, the surprise of the night, was Thomas Murray. Scored 2 touchdowns. Quietly had a really good game. So what can we say? Coronado has Socorro next week, and then they finish the season with Montwood. Americas is open next week, and then they finish the season with Socorro. So barring something very weird, Americas is in, and Coronado still will battle for key district wins, which would be a nice way to end the season. So, what a game here at Coronado High School. I'm going to turn it back to you guys in the studio. I do want to add a praise. I got to praise one lineman. We never do that very much from Coronado. His name is Max Matichek. He threw 2 big blocks, one that allowed Murray to score and one that allowed Levesque to score. And this guy's an animal. He's 6'4", 265 pounds. Nicest kid you'd ever want to meet. So that'll do it from here, from Coronado Stadium.
All right, Joey, great job. Thank you so much. What a game out there. One of the best games of the year so far. America's tops Coronado, 38-35. So America's kicker was our top athlete. How about a senior player of the night? Paul, what do you got?
Well, I'm looking at several. Of course, there's a DJ Crest, the 77-yard punt return to get Parkland rolling against Bel Air. And then you see Curtis Murillo, the 53-yard interception return that was really the coup de grace as Eastwood hammered Montwood. But to me, I think you got to go to the game with the team that hasn't been in the playoffs since 2013 and took a major step tonight. The quarterback who's only been back a couple of weeks, Jerry Chidas for the El Paso Tigers, a 14-yard touchdown run to take the lead early in that contest. Later threw a 40-yard TD to Pedro Gonzalez. And, oh, by the way, his partner, back for his first game in over a month, Leo Johnson, a 75-yard touchdown run. So amongst those candidates, we're going to take Jerry Chidas and his running back buddy, Leo Johnson, the 75-yard TD run, pushing El Paso High past the Burgess Mustangs at Mustang Stadium. And El Paso, they're going to wind up in the playoffs now due to this victory. And as I said, for the first time since 2013. And for that, Jerry Chidas, the quarterback, Leo Johnson, the running back, our seniors of the night.
Very much brought to you by the Greater El Paso Football Showcase. Senior football players must have their SAT, ACT results submitted by December 1st. To be eligible for Combine in the game, go to 915showcase.com. Remember, all our scores on 600ESPNElPaso.com and pictures. Thanks. Brought to you by Prep One. Want to look at next week, calling it our 915 Tours Game of the Week. Eastwood is at Franklin, 7 o'clock Friday night. That's going to be a fun one. Also a good game here, Chapin and El Paso High. El Paso High coming off clinching a playoff berth today, hosting the Chapin Huskies. Let's see how good the El Paso High Tigers really are.
Right.
Going to be a fun one. Lots of great games next week, and we'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in to Week 9 of Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso.